We're rolling.
Welcome back, everybody.
Buongiorno.
Episode 88 of the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast. We are presented by MANSCAPED. Get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code
JJD20.
Yes, at manscaped.com.
Test that world shipping out.
Yes, worldwide. There's going to be somebody be like, hey, they wouldn't ship to Madagascar.
I want this. I just got a Madagascan frog.
Don't forget to like, comment, click that subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening. It only helps the show. If you like what we're doing, help us out. We would really appreciate the support.
Click the
My
bell.
name is Milton Campus.
It sure is.
I'm a brown belt training out of South Florida. Actually, I'm training again, thank God.
Training.
Bo behind the camera.
Hola.
Miguel, my beautiful sidekick.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that
Yeah.
sidekick?
I don't care. I don't care.
Riding, shotgun.
I was waiting for it.
How you doing, brother?
I'm pretty good.
You
man.
had a little vacay?
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Can you
North
say?
Carolina. Yeah. Mount Pleasant. We were right outside of Charlotte by the Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
We got to see a whole bunch of cool classic cars and hang out by the pool. It turned into like a
Family
pseudo.
there, or it was just
It was a wedding. Like a destination wedding. There was people from like 7 different states or something crazy like that.
Okay.
It turned into like a pseudo family reunion. We were all same hotel. We took over the pool, bro. People came to the pool
cool.
and they were like, "No, we're not gonna go to the pool because we had it." The whole gang.
Which side of the family? Yours, hers?
Hers.
Okay.
Yeah, but I love them, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Are there any Colombians in North Carolina?
Nah.
Not any. Zero. I knew as soon as you said North Carolina and I started to ask the question, I'm like,
Charlotte.
Yeah, probably not a lot of Colombians.
Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Right next to the home of NASCAR.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Joining us shortly are the Bolo brothers, Danny Maira and Nicholas Salles. We had Nick on before.
Yep.
We had such a great time. We asked him to come back, bring his partner.
We had him at the gang.
His business partner and gym partner, Danny. And I think it's going to be a great show.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm excited.
Okay, let's do a couple of shout-outs here. The Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast is brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business. You got website design, Google Ads, graphic design. We literally can help with anything that you need.
Yeah.
Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or our website. It's bbdigitalmarketing.com. By the time this comes out, we've redesigned the website, so I'm really proud of it.
Go check it out.
It looks a lot better. You could request a free online review of your entire business, your business's entire online presence. It's a really in-depth report. We have a software that goes out and gets everything, grabs everything that's out there about your business, reviews, directories, and it gives us a report on kind of where you stand. So it's really cool.
So when I was a kid, there was that commercial. It's like, we didn't invent the snowboard. We just made the snowboard better.
Okay.
You guys are like that, but like with businesses. It's like,
We're gonna make your business
invent your
better.
business. We're going to make your business
Think
better.
of everything, like when we say like, comment, and subscribe, right? The comment.
Right.
Every comment, picture, word, review that somebody puts out about your business or you put out about your own business, that is all scanned and indexed by Google, right? Google, right? When you do a search, Google's been there already, so then it's able to scan, right?
Yeah.
So utilize this free real estate, these directories, social media, make sure you're posting all the time. People open a social media. Facebook is famous for this, right? You open a Facebook page, you post on it, you put your profile picture up, and then you never post again, or like years later. I've seen it. Companies don't post. Your activity online, the consistency and frequency at which you put information out online is important. And then the only thing better than you saying something about your business is somebody else saying something good about your business, right? You know, like, so a review,
and you can learn from the
replying to the review, right? Then it's just like this, you know, it just.
You can learn from the bad too, right? If you get the same bad complaint, you could address that complaint.
I can turn a bad review into a good thing for a company by replying to that review in the right way.
Yeah.
Take the food fight offline, apologize, accept responsibility, even if you think you're right. Ask them to give you a call. And the next person that looks at your company is not only going to look at your good reviews or like good, bad reviews.
Everybody looks for the bad.
They're going to look at that and go, I like the way they handled that.
Yeah.
I know not in every company, like when you just see a company that has all 5-star reviews, nobody ever believes it. Like, really?
I'm super suspicious of that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Or as the kids say, sus. You know, I could tell what it's like, especially with Amazon reviews. You could tell, especially how they answer the comments, and it's a bit doctored.
But they might look at that negative review and go, I appreciate and understand.
Yeah.
What, you know, that they're not always going to have a good review and that it might happen that somebody's not happy, but I want to see how they handle it. when people get into that food fight and be like, well, you didn't tell us about this, and it's not our fault that you didn't tell. You don't do that. Even if you're right, you don't do that.
When I see a bad review and then I look at the comment icon and there's like 7 in there, I'm opening that up.
Yeah, you're watching the fight back and forth.
Yeah,
you totally don't do that. And look, how the hell does this relate to jiu-jitsu? If you are happy in your gym, you're happy at your gym, your academy, you should be leaving a review on 100%. Google for your gym. Again, if you're happy, leave them a 5-star review. Say something nice. Yelp, Google, Facebook.
Right.
Those are the 3 free places that they don't have to pay for to have a review. And then you got places like Nextdoor and like there's other places, but those are the 3 most important places. And that's where most people are going to go to check out a company before they do business.
Like 5 stars. I've never been
leave
wrist
a review,
locked.
help your gym out. Your gym will see a noticeable improvement the more reviews it gets. Noticeable improvement in their ranking and how many calls they get. And if they're really paying attention to it, they'll go, oh, wow, I'm getting more calls. And somebody might mention, I found you on Google. There you go. You're welcome. Thank you to our friends over at Flow and Roll. Sean, we love you, man.
What's up?
Hands down the best custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Don't believe us. Just visit them on Instagram.
I love it.
Now, this is my dilemma here. I've been saying the @ so... I
had
an epiphany. I said before I had an epiphany. I was going to save it for the show. So don't believe us. Visit them on Instagram. See, I always got to say @Flow and Roll, right?
Yeah.
I can't not say the @. So I'm still going to say the @. In this case, I'm going to say the @, but there's a reason to not say it someplace else. So visit Flow and Roll on Instagram @Flow_N_Roll and check out all their custom designs. They've created tons of different gi and no-gi kits for gyms around the country. They even have a special running right now. It's like you buy gis and he's going to give you free patches. So reach out to them directly to get more information. Sean's amazing. He's an amazing person to work with. If you have a bad experience with him, you let me know because it's just not going to happen.
What happened?
I'm able to. I feel like I put my faith in him, and we tell people that listen to us and watch us to buy his stuff because he's that good.
There's no way he's lying to that many people. Like he's not pretending to be.
If you have a bad experience with him, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. He's like the dog, right?
I don't want to. I'm not going to go into a story, but I know of a story of a gym that had a problem with the gi pants. He replaced all the gi pants. Like he took it on the chin. He said, I'm just going to replace them. I want them to be happy at no charge to them. He replaced like all of the gi pants because whatever problem, we don't have to go into it, but there was a problem at that time with those gi pants. He had them replaced.
That's a good long play.
Was happy. Yeah,
that's a good long play.
Absolutely. Reviews, right? We just talked about reviews. They are not going to say anything bad about him. So again, Instagram, it's flow_N_roll. And his website is flowandroll.com. You can still use coupon code JJD.
All the OG JJD.
Yeah, 20% off your online purchase. That's not for your bulk orders or your gym, right? For your online purchase.
Recreational.
Your tees, belts, gis, no gi, spats, rash guards, everything.
Other people's, other gyms' gis that I'm currently in love with. I don't know how to feel about that.
What do you mean?
It hurts my heart that I want to wear some. I see the stuff that he posts for the other gyms.
Yeah, like you want that gi.
I want that Nogi. I am. I can't wear it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it.
Does your gym have a strict rule about
No, not at all. No, there's dudes who are in there black top, blue bottom.
Yeah.
It's
jiu-jitsu in there.
Okay.
Jiu-jitsu is what shines at that gym, man. I love it.
So next up, Bjj Box.
The box.
Thank you for all your support as well. Bjj Box is Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box. It's delivered to your door, filled with premium Jiu-Jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, deodorants, right?
Man,
little balls for your feet, for plantar fasciitis, right?
Yeah.
We had 2 different products for that.
Here's
Still
the
use
thing.
it.
If you can, just do it, man. It's so awesome. Like, if you love jiu-jitsu and you love, like, just actually more, I would say even if you're, like, an athletic person.
Yeah.
Because there's recovery stuff in there, too. There's things that'll, like, kind of open your eyes to, like, what you're getting. If you can, just do it.
I've always used almost everything.
Yeah.
Or we share in some of the stuff, so I've given it to, like, a cohort. Like, I like this. Hey, I'm probably not.
I give it out at the gym.
There you go.
Dude, my wife loves that, the monkey tape recovery balm.
Yeah.
My wife uses that. for her fingernails and stuff.
Oh, very cool.
All the time. Yeah, loves it. She's like, okay, we're definitely going to buy it.
They find the best products in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee that every box, right, everything that's coming in that box is going to be worth more than what you paid. Than what you're paying for that box. Again, it comes typically every month. I know they have a quarterly as well. Mm-hmm. He also has another brand. It's like a fitness box. If you look at his...
it's on the website.
Yeah, it's on the website. I think you can click over. But they also have, something for fitness buffs. Okay, so each box usually includes about 4 to 7 total items. I think we've always had more, right? Yeah, I know he throws us 2 T-shirts for us.
I made up a saying.
Oh, you got it on.
I do, yeah.
6-minute rounds, and I guess they did a collab with Jiu-Jitsu Soap.
Yep.
So
I'm saying if you're into fitness into your budget. Just get it in there.
I was worried where he was going to go with that.
Nah, come on, man.
So use coupon code JJD10 for $10 off your first order.
El primero.
Okay. And I know that they've got some another box coming our way, so we've got some cool stuff coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell them we sent you.
Okay. So this is I'm super excited to do this. So we have a special announcement from one of our sponsors. So we know we've always talked about Neutral Zone CBD. Mm-hmm. So now we have, you see them on the table there.
What's new?
Neutral Zone Clean.
Limpio.
All right. Neutral Zone Clean has now a new brand of body wipes.
Yep.
A spray. Lift that up there too. A body spray. And then the refill.
For the spray.
A refill for the spray. These are the first 3 products. You can buy them individually. Giant. You can buy them you can buy the spray and the bottle together. I believe we're going to have a bundle of all 3. I say we're going to, because when we're filming now, we're working on the website. Black Belt Digital Marketing is actually working on the website for them.
Yeah.
We're going to be launching Neutral Zone Clean by August 1st. Everything should be live. This episode is probably going to come out on the 1st or 2nd of August. So we're very excited now. We should mention, this does not have any CBD in it. Neutral Zone Clean is completely separate from Neutral Zone CBD. These are 2 absolutely different products, two different websites. And this does not have CBD. This is about cleanliness.
Yeah.
This is about, cleaning up, your body after jiu-jitsu. Now, let's talk about this, because I've spoken to them a lot about this. It's not just about jiu-jitsu. Yes, we're a jiu-jitsu podcast. You know where they sent me like a nice big canister. You saw that big canister that I have, right? Mm-hmm. I have that in my car. I pump gas. I use those wipes. I come out of the gym. I actually have the smaller canister in my bag, but come out of the gym. I'm using wipes. I'm using the spray.
Yeah.
I went to get mulch from Home Depot with my wife and my daughter. I said, I need some help. We got to get a lot of mulch.
Those bags are always broken. Bags are always broken. We all know what's
my fingers. By the time I got everything in the car, I had like mulch all over.
You're red.
I took it. I wiped it off.
Whatever color you get.
It's a staple in my cleaning regimen now for myself after the gym, and then even just like privately.
Yeah, not like Howie Mandel level, but like just being.
Listen,
just being
I've had staff.
Naturally.
I've had staff.
Yeah,
and I know that I want the yuckies off of me.
Yeah, I'll take this to work. I was working with wastewater the other day. I would love to use this before I get in my car. If you're a contractor, you're a contractor. Sometimes you don't have a company vehicle. You got your own vehicle and you get like a stipend or something like that for it. Like this is something you could use as a person who's like a project manager or a contractor where you have an office job, but you got to go to the field, something like that. Dude, this is going to be great. Get in the car.
Their son
steering wheel
trains. He competes in wrestling. He does jiu-jitsu. Mike, one of the owners, it's Mike and Candy. Mike, he does jiu-jitsu as well. They recognize that, sometimes the gym gets a little dirty. The mat's not necessarily always getting cleaned after every class. This is there to help. So we're super excited to be helping them out with this. We're super excited to be launching the website for them. So again, it's going to be neutralzoneclean.com. You can go to Neutral Zone Clean on Instagram and on Facebook.
Yep.
Okay, like I said, this is completely separate from CBD. This does not have a stitch of CBD in it. It has nothing to do with that. Okay. This is all about being clean on the mats, after training, your personal life.
If you got a baby blue collar.
Like I said, you're gardening, you can use it anytime. I've been lucky enough that they sent me a bunch of stuff, and I get to keep the canisters in different places.
This doesn't smell chemically at all.
No, it smells that nice.
It smells good.
Smell, right?
Almost like the tea tree. I bet it's got tea tree in it.
So
There it is. Tea tree.
What coupon code do you think that we set up for this?
JDD's products in your inbox.
Yeah, so this is going to be 15% off
15
with code JJD.
Bam.
So we can use it. Again, it's a different website.
JJD is the best.
JJD.
If you're at the gas station.
15% off, code JJD.
Let's go.
And what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut to this really cool commercial that we did for them that our awesome producer, Bo, did for them. We're going to give you some more details about the product. So
Get
check this
clean,
out.
y'all.
Neutral Zone is combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean?
All right, guys. Very cool, right? So
Yeah.
you're going to go check them out?
Yeah.
Neutral Zone Clean. Thank you, guys. We appreciate all the support and wish you the best of luck. Can't wait to get this launched. So last but not least, we still have our contest running. We should have our rash guards into production within just like the next 2 weeks. If you purchase anything from any of our sponsors using our coupon code,
right,
send us a copy of the receipt.
Block out any important information.
We're going to take that. We're going to enter you into a $250 giveaway from the podcast.
Yeah.
I know that's going to go higher.
Of gear.
Of podcast swag. And I know that we're going to include some
we're
other
not
stuff.
giving out cash or nothing like that.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's very likely going to be some of the products that you've seen on the table before.
Yeah.
So we're going to send you some other stuff as well. So it's going to go up from $250.
Swagoo.
Yes. All right. So send us your receipt. You can send it through our Instagram.
Yep.
It's Jiu Jitsu Dummies.
Slide in them DMs.
You can email to info@jujitsudummies.com.
Right.
Right.
Milton's personal
that's really
number
it. No,
is...
that's not. So send it to us one of those two ways, and we'll get you into that raffle.
Get in there.
And if you want more details, just go onto our IG. You'll see the occasional post about that contest as well.
It's you drastically increase your chances of winning by just playing.
Mm-hmm. What is it? You got to be in it to win it.
That's right.
We'll steal that from the lottery. TM.
You gotta.
I'm gonna get a call from the New York Lottery.
I hope not.
All right. Let's get Danny and Nick in here. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Hey,
how we doing, guys?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Good.
How you going?
Pleasure to have you back, Nick, and nice to meet you, Danny.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Listen, we were after we spoke to Nick, I was like, I've heard Nick talk about you. I was very interested in this dynamic between you guys, so I wanted to have you both back on. We'll get rid of Nick one day and have you come back on by yourself. But absolutely interested in the dynamic. And Nick, I've actually talked a lot about you on other podcasts now, and I said a lot of the things that you're talking about in the way that you sell your gym, how you're bringing students in, and the things you say to them are in line with my thinking. But a lot of people don't think that way. Being honest about the jiu-jitsu that you teach. Versus, I think you use an example of, if a woman came in that just, was mugged and she's coming in looking for self-defense jiu-jitsu, it's nice that you're being honest and telling this is probably not the right place for you. I know that other gyms aren't doing that, so again, really wanted to have you guys back on and talk a little bit more about that. We'll dive a little deeper, but how have you been since we spoke last? What's been going on?
Yeah, man. It was actually pretty funny that you mentioned that because I felt like some of the things we spoke about were pretty controversial. At least I thought they were controversial because, it's not often that you have a discourse or conversation about jiu-jitsu like we did. But I was actually surprised by the amount of support and the people that actually agreed with some of the things I was saying. The little snippets and clips you guys posted, I had a lot of people reach out to me and actually say hey, I actually really resonate with the things that you said. And some people even reached out saying I'm in a gym like that, as you described, and it's super toxic. What can you do to help me? So it was really cool to have you guys post those clips and have my kind of advice or my experience reach out to those people and be able to help people through Instagram or through social media. So it's actually pretty funny that you said that.
I actually had a really long conversation yesterday with somebody who's trying to get back into jiu-jitsu, and he's torn at where to go. we were talking a lot about, he's like, what do you think about competition schools? What does competition school mean to you? And I referenced our conversation and I said, when we had you on, he had heard that podcast. It kind of like it related back to that podcast as well. So he was saying, he's like, would you go to a gym that was a competition school? And I said, well, we have to define what that means. And I think I remember you saying, yes, we compete, but we're not pushing everybody to compete, right? Your students don't have to compete, right? Talk to us a little bit about that dynamic with your students. How are you talking to them about this?
Exactly. So I think the incentive to compete, at least for us, just pushes us to think about jiu-jitsu a certain way, or just motivates us to really dive in and study the art and study the sport in such a way that maybe if someone doesn't compete, they're not as motivated. So I think if anything, the students just benefit from us being so passionate about jiu-jitsu and being passionate about competing. So when we say we don't push it, it's because if you're a hobbyist in the gym, really you're just benefiting from the fact that we're competing. And likewise, we kind of frame everything in that competitive mindset. So if you are doing jiu-jitsu, something we tell the students is you want to have goals. And the goals that we kind of push to the students is like points or position leads to submission. These are things that are very competitive mindset or competitive related. So if you don't have that competitive framework for the students to work off of, then they're really they're left to think about jiu-jitsu maybe not in terms of goals, or that's when we have issues with like sub only, and students kind of just focus on escapes. And I know we spoke about that. What I think about escapes versus like maybe putting your investment in other areas of jiu-jitsu. So it's really important that as competitors, we're telling our students that, look, you don't have to compete, but you want to be playing a game. All right. So on the mats, we're thinking about jiu-jitsu in terms of rules, in terms of points. So if you do compete, you're well prepared. But if you don't compete, it's fine. You're playing the game. You're learning how to play this game and get better at playing. Right.
Right.
Yeah, we definitely have like that.
Go ahead.
Yes. No, I was just going to add on to that. Like we definitely have kind of a saying at Movement Art where we differentiate like what's the difference between a hobbyist who competes and a competitor, like a full-time. And we're just like the amount of time that they put in to perfecting, their craft, and the amount of time that they have to study each position. It's like, we don't really believe that it changes. So the same way that I'm going to teach a hobbyist who has no interest in competing at all is still going to be the most effective, the most logical, most structurally sound, least athletic version of jiu-jitsu that I can possibly learn and have learned and that I can share. Because if you're a hobbyist, well, you're not trying to roll with the young bucks. If you're an older guy or girl, you're not trying to roll with the young bucks and use as much athleticism as you can, because you're not going to win that battle. They're younger, bigger, stronger, whatever. You're not going to win that battle. So why not use the most structurally sound, least athletic version you can? And then if you're a full-time competitor who is a young buck, it's like, why would you not use the most structurally sound, logical, and everything else the same? It's just like, it makes so much sense when you say it like that. And that's one thing that, like, when we compete, we really try to show, that level of jiu-jitsu. And we truly believe that any time that you have to compensate with athleticism, you're compensating for a lack of knowledge in a position and a lack of structural integrity in a position. And so we kind of really basically just differentiate between the hobbyist and the full-time competitor between the amount of time they're putting in or not.
Yeah. So, and in a lot of these non-competitive schools, I feel like they lack that structure, right? And so like everyone is just kind of scrambling about, learning things maybe in an unorganized way. And I feel like it really helps to have this framework, this competitive framework.
So let's say you have a 50-year-old guy come in. He's a brown belt. I happen to be 49 and a brown belt, but I'm just going to I was up to 50. A guy like me walks into your gym. I've been training 8.5 years, I think now. I'm a brown belt in my jiu-jitsu. I am definitely not going to be a brown belt in your jiu-jitsu. What kind of conversation do you have with somebody like that? Because at brown, let's be honest. You're thinking about black. You're like, I've attained this goal, and then I get to kind of continue my journey from there. But what do you tell a guy that's like, well, he's going to come in and he's probably going to be a blue belt or a 4-stripe white belt in your jiu-jitsu? So, what's the conversation like?
So say you come in, we're having that exact conversation. You ask me that. I'm like, all right, so what stats are you a black belt in or a brown belt in? And you're like, let's say half guard. You're not just a brown belt in half guard. And that stat, maybe you're a little higher. You've got a black belt level half guard, closed guard. Let's say, your passes from a knee cut, right? It's like there's so many stats across the board. And the question would be, how good are you in each stat? So if I was to ask you about, and we literally have a list, if I was to go through that list and say, what's your level on this position, this position, this position, this position, you're going to be like, say you rate it like 0 to 10. Say you're, and I'm just making things up here, but say you're half guard, you're like, oh, I'm a 9 or a 10 in a half guard. I feel incredibly comfortable there. I feel really, really good. Black belt level, boom, give me a 10. And then I'm like, okay, you're Barambolos. You're like, I'm a 0. Let me go with the 0. And that's like a pretty common thing when some guys come in. If they're really good at half guard, they're not so much a bolo player. But then it's like, all right, we'll add another thing. It's like, how about your, De La Riva guard? How about your closed guard? And then it's like you start saying that's a 5, that one's a 2, and so on. And then you can really look at your jiu-jitsu as a whole. And then that question kind of poses back to them and say, where do you see your real level? And then they can look at that and they go, well, maybe I thought I was a brown belt, but I know I am a brown belt in these positions, but maybe I have a lot to learn in these other positions. And then we just go, well, that sounds great. We love learning. We have the information. Let's have fun leveling up together. And they're like, oh, do I have to give up my belt? And I'm like, that's obnoxious. Why? And you're a brown belt in this level, in these at this stat, and someone somewhere gave you that belt, and it's like you earned that. That's achievement for you. And the same way that someone who is studying computer engineering in 1995, and they have a master's degree or whatever in that, they don't lose their degree because technology advances. So that's not part of the conversation, I don't think. So basically just say like, hey, where are you at? What's your genuine level? What do you feel it is? And then we just simply tell them, these are the spots that, you need to be working on, that you should be learning, because you clearly don't have this information yet. And let's level up together and let's have fun learning it together.
Yeah, and I feel like most students actually are excited to hear that. You would think it's the opposite, like they get overwhelmed or maybe they're scared off a bit and intimidated by the idea of having to learn all these new positions or level up these positions. But they're actually super into it. It gives them a chance to maybe reinvent themselves or to explore jiu-jitsu that maybe their other gym was negating and not exposing them to. Like a lot of people come into our gym as brown belts, purple belts, like you guys are saying. They're like, why haven't my coaches show me De La Riva, or why wasn't Berimbolo part of the conversation? Well, they start wondering these things, and they actually become excited that they get to learn these things for the first time.
And it gives them clear goals too, right? Like now they know exactly what positions, what spots to level up in. Like, man, my double sleeve guard is atrocious. I never learned that in my other school. It's like, okay, well, that's where a good starting point. My guard retention, not very good. My this, my that. It's like they're able to see for themselves which spots that they're lacking, and then they can really learn and get started on their path to be their own coach in a very, very clear and organized path laid in front of them, to attain that next level. And we're also incredibly honest with them too. Like, until you have these stats across the board to this degree, to where you're like, I'm a brown belt or I'm a black belt in this level of stat all across the board, or mostly across the board, until you bring your average up to a brown or black belt level, like, we're just simply not going to promote you. And that doesn't say anything about your character, or we don't like you or anything. It's just simply, you have this much work to do. It's up to you how long it's going to take you to do it, how you're going to do it. We're very flexible with people, and I think people are very receptive to this.
I'm going to actually ask Miguel a question, because you had to jump around a little bit. You moved.
Yeah.
Did you have some of those conversations, with your coaches when you had to move around a little bit?
Yeah. And I think I had a coach do what you guys did, but more with putting me with different people. Like within the first week, I could tell what he was doing because he was watching me.
He wanted to see how you.
And he would put me with like this is our most cockaboo belt, which is not a cockaboo belt, you know, or like, oh, we'll put him with our D1 wrestler 2-stripe white belt guy, or I'll put him against, you know, because that's the mind fuck, right? Because you think you're just getting a 2-stripe white belt, you know, and then it's not. And then, you know, he'll put you with a seasoned black belt, brown belt, you know, watch you get wrist locked different ways. Yeah.
And he's just kind of seeing how you deal with those situations, right?
Yeah.
Like how do you adapt and how do you solve those problems?
He made him answer the questions you guys asked. That's what he did to me. Like he made me answer them by showing him literally. But he didn't tell me he was doing that, but I could tell.
Yeah.
And then in that process I knew my place essentially. Yeah. And then all of my embarrassment was gone because I feel like it's like you, and not to say that you are a poser, but like it feels kind of posy. Like you're coming into a new town and you're wearing a sheriff's badge. Yeah. And there's only one, and you're in a new town. There's another sheriff. You know, it's going to be a little. Yeah. Even though it's friendly, professional, but like because like as a gym owner and as a professional athlete and as all these things, you hold your thing to your standard, and that's the product you're selling. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it sounds, first of all, you guys nailed that question. I think that's exactly how everybody should behave. I
think it's really funny. Something happens, I think, right before they join our gym. So all those conversations, they happen when someone joins our gym, or they're like, I'm going to join your gym. Like, it's like, okay, we kind of have those conversations so that we're upfront, we're honest about everything. But what you're talking about for sure happens before they know they want to join our gym. They come and visit, and basically that process happens, and they'll roll with our white belts and our blue belts, and they'll just be like, oh dear God, like what's going on? Like, what is the sorcery that they know?
There's no lying. There's no lying in jiu-jitsu, dude.
He doesn't lie.
And two things happen, and it's absolutely hilarious. We talk about it all the time, but two things happen. The majority of people, they go, oh my goodness, like my personal jiu-jitsu, my level is in like the dark ages. I need to evolve. I need to, fall in love with learning again. Like you remember that feeling of like, oh, this is a Kimura. And you're like, whoa, that's so cool. I need to have that feeling all the time. Yeah. And then the second thing that also happens, much more, let's say rarely, but it does happen where someone will come in, they're really hype and all this, and then they train. They talk a lot always beforehand, but then they train and we never see them again. Yeah. And it's really funny just how some people want to fall in love with learning, and some people care more about winning than they do about learning and leveling up in their own level. And so they would rather go somewhere else and be a big fish in a little pond. And I respect everyone that comes into our gym and they say, all right, I'm going to be a little fish in a bigger pond maybe, but what do I gain? I get to have so much more fun leveling up and learning and the camaraderie and everything. It's like they just allow their ego to kind of get out of it. So I respect our students so much for that.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said, like when you roll with the students at a gym and you can feel the product or you can see the curriculum, right? Because I've been to plenty of gyms, where I rolled the instructor, and the instructor is at such a high level. Maybe they're a full-time athlete, they're a professional jiu-jitsu athlete, and you can feel the level with the instructor, right? But as soon as you roll with everyone else, it just kind of trickles away from like this consistency. Like you're not feeling those same concepts being applied by the students. And so like what you're saying, Miguel, like that's what you want to experience. You want to go to a gym, and of course you want to have those rounds with the instructor where your mind is just simply blown. You're like, what does this guy know? But if you can feel a semblance of that with the students, then you know you're at the right place, because that instructor is literally teaching the jiu-jitsu they know, and they know how to teach it. They know how to verbalize it to the students. So that's a really good sign,
Yeah, it's almost like it's a metric to see how good the instruction actually is, right?
Yeah. And how like some schools, I feel like have a curriculum where everyone has the same jiu-jitsu. There's some variation here and there because there's always going to be preference. Some people are going to be longer, some people are going to be shorter, so you're going to gravitate towards certain variations. But the overall jiu-jitsu is the same, right? Whereas you go to gyms and everyone does some random thing. You know, some people, they cartwheel pass, other people, they pressure pass. And you're like, what is the curriculum like here? I'm not seeing like a trend or a pattern. So it is cool to go to a gym and feel like there is a jiu-jitsu being taught. to all the students.
Yeah. And that's kind of something that we really believe is like, there is a most logical way to do things in each position. And so we're like, okay, if everybody's doing something completely different, like which one makes the most sense? Which one, and what's the metric for what makes the most sense? It's like, well, you know, which is the least athletic version, the most effective version, and so on. And so it's like, you start looking at all of them, and if like they're all doing something different, then that means that no one has been like, this makes more sense than that, I'm going to do this. And they're all just doing different things. So it's kind of strange.
That is really efficient what you guys are doing. You guys are almost even like scientists, and your students are like your sample size. And you're seeing the efficiency of the move. And then you teach them this thing and then teach them this thing. And it's a situation that you're worried about, and you could get the like, oh, this works the majority of the time against this level versus this level versus, wow, that's a... You guys are teaching good jiu-jitsu and gaming your own game. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to talk about. I've heard you individually, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard you individually talk about like, I didn't really have a coach, right? Right. You both said that, so you're nodding yes. So I have it correct, right? Help me understand that. So you obviously started jiu-jitsu at some point. What's that?
I said we adopted each other.
Yeah.
He's my coach. I'm his coach.
So go back. Tell me, okay, you obviously started jiu-jitsu at some point. You had a coach. But as you came up, you guys talk a lot about being your own coaches and finding information. Tell me about your individual experiences with coaches, and then how it became that you kind of felt like you didn't have a coach and you had to be self-taught.
Yeah, that's like another saying in our gym, literally, is we literally tell the kids and the adults in every class, we're just like, you got to learn how to be your own coach. And this is something that we obviously grew up with in jiu-jitsu, you know, where I didn't have anyone who was there like, okay, now you work on this, now you work on that. We're going to do top game, bottom game, whatever position. Okay, how's your diet looking? Okay, how is your fitness regime? How's that coming along? How's your sleep? How's everything else going on? Like I had to learn all of this stuff. And, you know, Nick has been the most influential person in my jiu-jitsu development, like bar none. And it's just absolutely insane.
All right, Miguel.
Yeah.
Crotch discomfort hurting your game?
All the time.
Fear no more.
Thank God.
The kings of crotch comfort, MANSCAPED, have spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxer briefs out there. Here you go.
Give them to me.
Sleek, soft, comfortable, and flexible.
Dude.
The brand new Boxer 2.0 from MANSCAPED takes your balls to the royal ball throne.
Bam. I'm ready to go.
The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the Lawnmower 4.0 for the trimming, so you can wear the Boxer 2.0 for the chilling.
There we go.
All right.
Like a villain on penicillin.
They even trademarked Jewel Pouch.
Is that the gold?
That's for real.
Yo, check that out.
So now...
I love these things, man.
So listen, so you know it's serious.
You wear these?
I think it's time you invest in your family jewels. So let your bulge breathe and get 20% off and free shipping by using our code JJD
20. That's right. 20%.
At manscaped.com.
That's a fifth off.
There you go.
That's like they took care of inflation for you.
So I threw that from here. We got
more. We got these already though.
Yeah. These are from way back.
We're loading up.
I've been wearing those.
You wore these? I was gonna sniff these. I was gonna sniff them.
So we got 3 pairs each. So
these are yours though.
Very cool.
Oh,
these are yours. I know your size.
Yeah.
Of
course. Yeah.
So those
I like
are yours?
that I touched those and you're gonna wear them.
The box I have out there
is all yours
on the counter. Oh,
yeah. You didn't know that was all yours?
Yours,
all yours, brother.
Get them. You haven't been wearing them. Hey, they do feel a little bit cooler than my regular ones. I'm not gonna tell you my other brand, but like I thought I liked my other brand until I tried those.
So remember, we got one the first time.
No.
And they sent us the box.
Those.
So
I'm not even talking about the black ones.
We all have 4 boxers from them now.
So are these briefs that you
These are
wear?
boxer briefs.
Yeah, man.
Underneath pants?
I wear them.
Oh,
I've worn them
so
to train.
I can't walk around like that.
They're
you can.
amazing.
Whatever.
What?
You know?
What
I
can't
can't walk around like that.
Depends where.
Just like
where are you trying to go? McDonald's? Or are you trying to go?
He likes to free
mail?
ball it. I used to do like a conference call with Bo. And he'd be like in a robe,
commando.
And I'd be like, "Please don't let that camera go down because I know you're not. I know you don't have any clothes on under."
Hey man, look, even Rambo retires at some point, bro. You got to stop going commando. You got to stop going commando. You got to wipe the camo off, and you got to get them briefs.
Listen, I'm not dangling yet, so.
All right, so check this out.
I got stripes,
Let's say you're on a date.
Okay.
Your partner catches the
With
little
my
MANSCAPED
wife.
logo on the waistband of your underwear.
That's right.
With your wife.
That's right, my wife.
It's almost guaranteed to raise some eyebrows and act like a billboard on the highway to Pleasure Town.
That's right.
Ooh.
I wrote that. No, I didn't write that.
I speed. I make people speed on the highway.
Listen, I love everything that I've gotten from Manscaped. I actually didn't even use the soap. I was waiting to get rid of like all the soaps that I had. And now I'm going to start using the soaps that they sent. And the deodorant. Like, I just want to use it all together. Use it for like a week, and then I'm going to report back.
I'm deep. I smell like a giant ball sack. Like a Manscaped giant from head to toe.
I don't think that's their intention, but okay.
It all smells kind of the same.
All right, everybody. Listen, get 20% off and free shipping with our code JJD20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with our code JJD20 at manscaped.com.
Yeah.
Up your crotch game, because once the Boxer 2.0 touch your sack,
there's no
never
coming
go
back. Bro, I'm telling you, if you smell me right here, you like the way my balls smell.
Let's get back to the show.
Okay, let's do it.
How long have you known each other?
Oof.
That long. They're looking up at the
been a
same.
while.
Up and to the right.
I would say 5 or 6 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
go ahead, Danny.
But in
I'm sorry.
jiu-jitsu time, that's a lot
No,
because
but-
y'all see each other every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. It ages you fast. Yeah. But yes, and plus traveling too, it gets worse. But anyway, so I just didn't have anybody there for me to really do that. When I first started jiu-jitsu, it was at a gym where the guy was an MMA guy. He was like a purple belt at the time, and it was his dream to open a gym, and he did that. And just his level of jiu-jitsu was just like, he didn't mean anything, any harm or anything. He just didn't know really what he was doing. And so I learned a few things, but past like white belt with a few stripes, he's not really teaching me anything new or anything, which, it's not really helping me too much. So I learned really quick because he also had it was really cool. He gave me the freedom and the kind of openness in the gym to be like, yeah, go cross train. Watch that YouTube video. And then like when it was class time, maybe it was disrespectful. Maybe it wasn't. Looking back on it, it was probably a little disrespectful, but I just did whatever I wanted in class. I would watch that YouTube video. I would go in the class. He'd be like, all right, guys, we're drilling half guard. I'd be like, all right, cool, half guard. And then I'm like, okay, so this knee bar to heel hook to twister, whatever that I saw on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, hey, how do I do that? He's like, can you just do the thing? And so looking back on it.
That's awesome.
Looking back on it, I probably was like the most disrespectful student unknowingly, but I ended up getting enough skill, competing all the time, and then literally just working at that gym and then running that gym where I ended up leaving and going to Marcelo Garcia Academy because I was like, I need to be part of a bigger team. I need to get different reactions. And that's where I met Nick. And, so he was more of an MMA guy, not really a jiu-jitsu guy. So that was kind of the reason. But I got my belts all white all the way through brown from that school. And then I went to Marcelo Garcia Academy when I was a purple belt. I was like, doing a lot of day passes. And then I joined full time as soon as I got my brown belt. I had that conversation and I was like, I gotta go.
So let me stop you there real quick, Danny. Did they have that conversation like you just said you have with your students when somebody comes in? Did anybody have that kind of conversation with you about like your level and where you were at?
At Marcelo's?
Yeah.
Wolves.
Absolutely not.
Wolves. Wolves at the door. Shit.
All right. So Marcelo's the Marcelo Garcia Academy, they were very welcoming to me in that they were like, oh yeah, we're picking up a full-time athlete who's a brown belt competitor who's traveling the world doing jiu-jitsu. They were like, doors open, come through. Yeah. And then when I left the other gym, because I was also running that gym, I had to have a very, very long conversation. I had to be very careful how I played everything, very political. And essentially when I first said it, the answer was like, all right, pack your stuff, get out. Like, you're fired. And
so were you going to try to go to, you were going to try to stay helping with that gym and train at Marcelo's?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. And so I was like, okay. I was like, you can do that. That's fine. But hear me out. I was like, I'm able to do both. And here's why. And then I said, you need to keep paying me. And here's why. And then I said, here's what you're going to gain from it. And I said, imagine you have an instructor who's competing at the top level and who is going and training at the Marcelo Garcia Academy with all these top level guys and just getting all that information, bringing it back. And I was just very political with the way that I explained everything. And I also said, hey, and if you care about me and my goals, and if you care about, what I want for my life, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want. You can choose to support me and benefit from it or not. And I had that kind of mindset. I know I'm going to work my butt off, and a rising tide lifts all boats. So that I kind of had that conversation in that way, but he was not very receptive at first, but afterwards a little bit more so. And then eventually when COVID happened, we ended up leaving, and
that was
I got fired from that other gym anyway. Yeah. And so we opened up our own, Movement Art, and never looked back. And I wish I did it sooner. It was just crazy.
Now timing was perfect. Both sides of the story.
So yeah. So you guys meet there. Nick, were you already at Marcelo's, or where were you guys meeting?
So I was a brown belt, I believe. He was a purple belt when we first met at Marcelo's, and like he said, he was doing the day passes. But I was already full time, I think, for a year before he even got there. So I was already training at Marcelo's. I already assimilated and settled in, and then he came in as a purple belt. And I remember a little bit afterwards, he got promoted to brown belt, and then we both closed out a division together. And that's when he really committed to going to Marcelo's full time.
I was like, it's just funny because when I was going there, like he was the brown belt that was there. And I was like, wait, what do you like? Cause I found this out later on. Cause I was like, what do you mean you didn't get all your belts from Marcelo? Mm-hmm. Like,
and that's something like a lot of people assume, like when they see the pictures and they see me training at Marcelo's, there's a lot of people assume that I'm a Marcelo Garcia brown belt, but I actually got my brown belt and then went over to Marcelo's and started training full time.
Yeah.
So now talk to me a little bit about, that was kind of the first part of the question. Now talk to me a little bit about this, the kind of having to train yourself. You're at Marcelo's. Is it not, Marcelo at the head of the, steering the ship and teaching you, or his coaches, or are you really going in there? Is it like, I know what I'm going to work on today, grab a partner, and you're just working on that move or that sequence?
Yeah. So, I mean, training at Marcelo's was amazing because you had so many high level athletes there, and Marcelo would run the class, and there would be other instructors, of course, as well. And whoever taught the class, you would get a different kind of style, pressure passing, or half guard, or Floriandos, anything, Yeah. And so what would happen was we would go there prepared with our notes. We would show up mad early. We would drill as long as we could. As soon as they would let us in the door, we would drill right up until class. We jump in the warm up, and then we do whatever technique that the instructor is showing in the class. And then we get through that, and it would be like time to roll. And then that rolling time was just so vital for us, where we're collecting data from high level reactions. We finish rolling, whatever happened in the roll. We start making our notes because we both had a really long train ride home. We both are making our notes. We're categorizing reactions. We're organizing everything. We're saying when, Gianni Grippo does this thing, like, what are your ideas on how to counter it? When John Satava does this thing, when Marcos Tinoco does this thing, when Mateus Lucius does this thing, it's like you just have
you got baseball stats.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So imagine just like a list for each person, categorizing every reaction that they do from every position that we can possibly categorize, and then just nerding out like crazy.
How did
and then
that
we would
start?
get together.
How did that start?
Train ride, right?
But is somebody teaching you that, or was that your thing? I'm going to take notes, because I've heard, again, you say a lot about taking notes, and I'm sitting here going, man, I've never taken a note.
So
like, I've recorded myself rolling and then looked back at it maybe, but like taking notes, it's like that. I'm just like, well, I feel like
I'm to the point where I have to.
Man, am I supposed to be taking notes every class?
I got it all up here, dude. I'm serious.
Go ahead, though. Where did that come from?
So imagine, like you were saying, when you go to a new school, they put you with the wrestler, they put you with the D1 wrestler white belt, they put you with the judo guy, they put you with the blue belt who's got a good guard, they put you with so and so and so and so. Okay, so when they put you with the D1 wrestler, well, what reactions is that wrestler going to give you? Well, they're probably going to lead with their upper body. They're going to have their hips back in a sprawl type position, and they're going to drive into anything you put in front of them, because wrestling is, very much like, here's a wall, run through it.
Yeah.
so you're going to get a lot of those type of reactions. And how can you categorize all those reactions? Well, he's leading with his upper body. He's maybe flopping without a base. So he's leading with his upper body, but he's not standing on his legs. So it's like, okay, so then you go and look at someone else and you say, well, this person is driving with their legs. Okay, so then you say this person, they're not really flopping. They're staying on their legs, but their legs are too far away. Their legs are back and they're driving more with their shoulders, swiping things away and stuff. And you go, okay. So now we have kind of three categories here that we can really categorize all reactions into a map. And we can say they can lead with their lower body. They can lead with their hips and basically just flopping on you, which again, most wrestlers tend to do more of these reactions. Or they can lead with their upper body. So then we can say in that structure, all right, well, I'm rolling with this guy and he does this thing where he drives his knee right up the middle. How can I stop that? And you figure out a way to stop it. And then instead of driving up the middle, he drives the knee to the side. And then you write that one down. And he drives the knee to the other side. And then you write that one down. And you have a counter for each one. As the reaction comes up, you figure out how to beat it a certain way. So he has to do something different. And then you just keep going. And then you keep them categorized in this, like, somebody only has so many body parts. So they can lead with their upper body, their lower body, or they can just kind of flop on you wholesale. And that's kind of where we started categorizing these different reactions. And then we can say even a little bit further, we can start to be really scientific with it and say, well, where are they framing? Why does that frame work? How should they be framing? What would the most effective frame be to stop us? And keep going down that road.
I feel like there's a book
I think
here. I feel like there's a manual or a book here that nobody's
reading that book, dude. Nobody's reading that book.
It's coming out soon.
Yeah. I think at the core of it,
that's just years
you have
of doing
to believe that jiu-jitsu at some point can be played perfectly without any resistance. And so the path of least resistance is you basically knowing how to counter every variable, right? And so if you have someone who's kind of skeptical about this idea and they say, no, I think jiu-jitsu is imperfect. I don't think it's possible to have all that information to make jiu-jitsu flow effortlessly and seamlessly, then maybe they're not going to want to learn jiu-jitsu in that way, right? And I feel like Danny and I, we always had this idea that no, you can have this perfect jiu-jitsu where everything works. You know how to counter every reaction the opponent can throw at you. And I think having that idealistic approach to jiu-jitsu is what makes us want to break everything down, study each and every variable, how to counter those variables without relying on athleticism. Because even to this day, I remember like my MMA coaches, like Danny had his, tell me, like when I would ask him a question, like, how can I make this work? And they would simply be like, do it harder. Or,
do it harder.
And I found that answer so unsatisfying. I'm like, there has to be something I could do technically to bypass whatever it is that my opponent's doing, right? And so it's that idea like, all right, if I can do that from an arm bar, or if I can do that from this position, then I can do it essentially from every position that exists in jiu-jitsu. There's not a single position where you have to go faster or harder. I'm just missing those details, or I'm lacking in information. So I feel like that's what kind of gets us going. And that's how we think about jiu-jitsu.
I feel like a lot of people too, when they hear that, they're like, yeah, but that's a lot of computing. And I'm like, yeah, but you got 10 years to black out.
Yeah.
I have like a Moneyball vibe.
No,
right? The movie Moneyball, right? I'm getting that vibe from what you're saying. I like it. I'm smiling only because I'm like, there aren't many people that think that way. At least I haven't met a lot of people that think that way. Is this what like maybe drew you guys to Mikey Musumeci? Is that, do you guys think 100%. The same way? Is he like that as well?
Dude, when I first met Mikey, yes. Yes, bro. The three of us together is like the three nerds. It's like the three amigos, three nerds.
I picture you. I'm hearing Moneyball here. I'm thinking, what is it like? Mikey is like Dangerous Minds. Was it Dangerous Minds? Not Dangerous Minds.
No.
Beautiful Mind. A beautiful mind. Like
beautiful. Yeah, with Russell Crowe.
Like with the string, the yarn, like from one picture to the next. Dude, I kind of picture him that way. In the most respectful way possible. Believe me.
I'm thinking like you remember that movie where I think they had to like battle Godzilla and they were like those robots, but you needed two people to run the robot.
That's what's going on in Mikey's head.
That's what's going on in that dude's head, man.
His jiu-jitsu is amazing.
Actually, all three of you's had.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like the level of, so think about it this way. Like if the average person is just doing moves and just doing reactions, and we are like this in the way that we try to compute and really outsmart every position. And then when we roll live, we're essentially just computing like like as much as we can. If that's what we're doing, then Mikey would be analogous to like a supercomputer putting like someone on the moon or whatever else, you know.
But it's cool that you guys mentioned that. Yeah, because, you know, that whole time that we're at Marcelo's, we're nerding out. But like you're saying, there are people that are just like, yeah, but that sounds like too much work. And so we never had like that validation.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of validating through our own competition.
Like we validated each other.
Exactly. We validated each other. And we were trying to prove that the way we thought about jiu-jitsu was the best way or the most logical approach. But then here comes Mikey, who basically is living proof that our approach works.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
what
Neo.
other American has won all these titles?
When I first met Mikey, bro, it was like we had that conversation that Nick's talking about. And it was like we rolled and I was like, oh, dear God.
Yeah.
And then it was like we just talked for like a couple of hours and it was just like, like just.
And then
like, it's real.
And then you learn that he only trains with hobbyists. He teaches his training partners how to beat him. And that's how he evolves and adapts his game, right? And then you learn that he just studies and drills for a majority of his training. He's not doing hard rounds. He's drilling and breaking down positions. So it's like, if this is what it took him to become the jiu-jitsu practitioner he is today, or the athlete he is today, then it's a no-brainer that that's the way we would want to do things.
He also,
it's so funny. Like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, he also steps it up one more notch. He teaches the people, the hobbyists that he rolls with. He's like, yo, I'm going to do this move. This is how you counter it.
Yeah, he was just
good luck.
Yeah.
But like,
he's teaching them how to counter the move.
Yeah, but better. like he'll tell them.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, good luck. And then just like,
yeah, well, that's
that's
a great way to get better.
It's the best. Because like, you're going to roll with a student or someone who's visiting and you're going to get away with the same thing over and over. And that's just not fun. That's kind of what Danny was saying earlier. There's two types of people who are in love with learning or people who are in love with winning. If we were in love with winning, we would just bear and bow the same person over and over again. And that would
spawn camping.
Like, that would give us dopamine. That would give us a rush. But that's just boring. So like you're saying, in that case, we would teach the person how to stop the technique we're doing. Like, look, when I try to bowl, you do this. That way it's more stimulating. Now I got to learn how to beat that reaction. And now they're also getting, you know, some success in it as well. So that's really how we like to do it as well, if we can.
It's so funny.
I do that with white belt. Like if I'm rolling with a white belt and I'm constantly getting him the same thing, I'm like, look, this is, you know, I like this move. I do it all the time. I'm going to do this because I don't want to get this on you every time. And again, it forces me to get better. But, you know,
I feel like I just made like a weird connection. I feel like video games from people in our generation has affected jiu-jitsu because it's like the same thing. Like people who play like first person shooters or play like WoW or something like that, or play like PUBG, like really competitive games. Like there's two types of people all the time. There's the spawn campers, sniper, people who just hide and don't mind spamming the same thing or even cheating, like putting a red dot sight like on their computer screen. So,
what's the fun?
So they're always hip shooting, like just weird stuff like that, like hacks. And then there's like the people who are like, oh, if I jump when they shoot, oh, I know he spawn camp. So they study the map and they know where all the spawn parts are. So you're developing counters to the hacks and you will always be better than those people.
That's a pretty good parallel.
I was going to say, like, that's super accurate, but also, like, I didn't really play a lot of video games ever. Do people really, like, that's a lot of time on a video game.
Well, now people make a lot of money from it.
I've watched, so I was late to college. I was a 26-year-old freshman because I was in the military for a couple years. Yeah. And I'm no good at video games, but I loved watching people play COD. So, like, while I was in college, I was like this old man in college, and I was just hanging out with these kids, you know? And it's like I had a car and a house and video games, so let's go, you know? And I was living right across the street from campus.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a railroad track, I could walk to class.
He just described old school.
Pretty much, except I was going to school.
Yeah.
I didn't catch my wife cheating.
Oh, wow.
And dude, you thought they were just like being kids, but it was just like super logical, Like, oh, you always do this. Hey, oh no, they learn teams because they would get on teams together.
That's crazy.
And then it's super. Like, I mean, you look at Korean e-game video game stars. Like those guys get paid millions of dollars a year.
Miguel. Yeah, I have a question. So when you first started training jiu-jitsu with that previous knowledge about COD and all that, did you make the connection between like jiu-jitsu feeling like a video game to you?
I think he just made that connection now.
No. I've always now. I wrestled in high school. I did combatives in the military, and then obviously if you're deployed a lot with a bunch of dudes, y'all are gonna wrestle no matter what you know. Especially if you are a wrestler, because you'd be like, oh, I wrestled for Iowa, and be like, oh, I wrestled, and then take it to the sand, like so that would happen sometimes. And then when I got into jiu-jitsu, I've always known about jiu-jitsu, but I got into it when I put my daughter into it. And I don't know if I subconsciously just put her in that shit so I could do it. I don't know. I really don't know. It was just we knew that our daughter, she jumped from ballet, lost interest, and this and that. We put her in jiu-jitsu, and then it's not that she loves it. She doesn't hate it, but it's like I saw the value in it, and I was like, I need to protect my I'm like,
you need to learn those same
something,
things.
Right? I was like, this stuff makes sense. I've always known about this. I've never done it.
Thank you to Feito IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, CCTV, POS, and more. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the dummies sent you. Neutral Zone is combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean? Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast. The Bjj Box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the Bjj Box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at thebjjbox. Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible Nogi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu Jitsu Dummies signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
So it's the self-defense aspect that drew you in at first.
That, and I love competing, Like in my house, if we're going to the doors, whoever touches the doorknob first. If we're walking the dog and the dog runs back, can you beat the dog? Like, it's everything. It's
but I'm curious because, so you got drawn to it at first due to the self-defense and competitive aspect. But what kept you in it for as long as you've been in it? It has to be the fact that you've been able to gamify it to an extent, right?
I love learning. I've never lost curiosity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't quit jiu-jitsu, but I take breaks on jiu-jitsu in terms of mentally, because I'm a big consumer. Like, my wife has to tell me to go to sleep every night. And not just jiu-jitsu, everything that I do, it's like I find it and then I have to watch every single video and read every single white paper about it. So that way I could determine what's bullshit and what's not. And I narrow it down to where I just have to maintain the subject instead of having to learn it more. And I spread that out across a lot of subjects, and jiu-jitsu is one of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so funny too that you're able to do that, where like we were kind of talking about earlier, like some people are like, oh, that's too much computing, like that's too much energy, and you're like seeking that out. You're like, how much more can I keep learning and find, how many resources can I find? That's what cracks me up so much though, is how people are like, they don't want to do what you're saying and watch all the instructionals, get all the information and everything like that. They don't want to do that. They say, I'll just work out harder and I'll just get stronger and more fit.
Or how many like high level athletes do we know that like stop training as much as they used to because they fell out of love with the sport? We hear about a lot of top guys that only train like once a day or maybe only a couple times a week. Yeah. And we couldn't ever imagine a situation where we didn't want to be on the mat.
It's like if we don't train for a few days, then both of us we're like,
that's me, and that's why I do it. I need it mostly for this, to clear my head when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm not that I have like a mental disability.
No,
but
you need it.
I need it. It's a reset. It's like restarting a computer for me.
Yeah.
I went Monday. I usually train on at least like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are usually my days. I went Monday because I was so busy and I was so overloaded that I was looking at everything I had to do and I couldn't get started on anything because I'm like, there's so much to do. I didn't even know where to get started. And that was after a full day of work. And I went to jiu-jitsu, came back. I literally felt like every brick was taken off my shoulders. Everything, monkey was off my back. I sat down. I did 2 hours of work and I got everything done that I thought was overwhelming and I thought was going to take me a whole day to do.
Oh, wow.
And for me, it's that mental reset. For again, I mean, I started when I was 41 too. So I started when I was much older. So again, it's just a different. I'm there for different reasons.
No, of course.
I was never there to compete, but I have. But I really need it for my own sanity.
Yeah, the process is like still like very much the same though, and you're still like getting addicted to learning, and then like you the endorphin rush and everything. It's like all the same reasons that we're in it for as well, which is really, really cool. Maybe obviously it's our career, so there's a little difference there, but the things that you're enjoying about it are also very much the same things that we are enjoying, is the same things that you guys are enjoying. And it's like people are always like, oh, like, what do they say? Like, being rich and making a lot of money is really hard. It's like, well, being really poor and having no ambition is really hard too. You got to choose your hard. And it's like you could say that to anything. It's like having the athletic, go hard. Who cares if you're learning or not? Just train a lot of times, stay consistent and be really athletic. It's like, that's really hard to do. But then also we talk about like this supercomputing level or type of jiu-jitsu and just out computing your opponent. Something like a chess match or a chess athlete would do.
That's checkers. That's chess versus checkers right there.
If you but it's like
against jiu-jitsu player.
They're both hard. It's like choose your hard,
Yeah.
But I feel like one is definitely more sustainable than the other, right? So pick your hard, but what allows you to do the thing that you love for longer or more consistently?
100%. I think being curious, staying curious is the key, man. Like that feeling of like when you first fall in love with jiu-jitsu, because you say it all the time. It's like jiu-jitsu is black and white. Like you either love it or you don't. There's no like. There's really no we got no casuals, right?
Okay, I'm gonna go train once a month just to.
Right, check it out. That guy doesn't exist.
That guy gets smashed, and it doesn't happen because that guy would get smashed.
But like I think everybody knows like the jiu-jitsu blues where you're just like not feeling it, life's not going right, all that stuff.
Have you guys ever experienced that?
Danny just showed me a video the other day. What is it? The rule of thirds. It's like every week you can organize or break your training down into these 3 thirds, right? Mm-hmm. So 1/3 of the week, you're going to feel really good. And that's the training sessions where you're going to feel super productive. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to have a lot of success in your training. And then the other third is going to be training sessions where you feel okay. So you're, it's not positive, it's not negative. It's just like flat line. And then the last third is going to be like training that is just not going your way. You don't feel as good. You're not peaking. Maybe you're tired.
Miguel says that last third is when you drive home in complete silence. Yeah. You don't even put the radio on. And you pull into the driveway and you finally realize, like, wow, I just drove home in complete silence. That's the last thing.
And then you walk home and you pet your dog, man.
So it goes in thirds, right? But this is every week. Yeah. So it's like for us, it's like we feel great. We feel okay. We feel terrible. We feel really okay. Then we feel great. And we feel terrible. Then
I got it.
It's like this.
I got
like
it.
If it was an investment, you would not invest.
That's what I was going to say. No. You're wrong. You would invest if you were an investor and not a trader. If jiu-jitsu was a stock, you play long. You play long on jiu-jitsu. It's like the S&P 500 or the Dow. It just goes up 10% year over year.
On Monday, sell on Friday.
Yeah,
Dude,
but if you day trade, jiu-jitsu, you're gonna lose, bro. It's a rug pull. Yeah, because it's a roller coaster, bro. Yeah. Dude, if you look at the day-to-day chart on the 1 minute view, bro, with like candles would be crazy. Super volatile.
So I feel like it's Wednesday for me. Wednesday, it's like the best day. It's like the middle of the week. Wednesday? I'm peaking.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Monday and Friday. Sometimes Friday I'm good. It depends, but
right.
Tuesdays I feel like I want to drive my car off. I'm just driving home. Like Tuesdays, I'm just
Tuesday's the bad day.
If I crash, it won't be too bad.
I think it's like Tuesday morning is good for me, and Thursday morning is good for me.
What?
Wednesday evening is like it's like I'm like inverse. So then the Wednesday, it's cool. Like Tuesday morning we're good.
So you have fluctuation within the day.
Wednesday is like.
What is it about that Wednesday? Is it like, are you not training yourself? Or are you teaching?
I'm feeling great. I'm like, everything is clicking. I feel like a supercomputer. I'm passing everybody effortlessly. I'm pass holing people left and right. And Wednesday, I'm like, bro, like, let's get extra round. Let's get an extra round. And then I just die.
Yeah,
that's false.
Have you either of you ever gone through? Okay, we talked about kind of like the jiu-jitsu blues. Was there ever a time that you actually felt like you were going to quit? That this was maybe not the path for you?
Dude. Yeah. Like when I first joined Marcelo's, and funny story, the reason I didn't quit was because I told you about a long conversation I had with Mikey. The reason I did not quit was simply because of that conversation. When I was like, I felt like I was getting my whole view of jiu-jitsu just broken down, and like, you can't do it. This is not what the guys at the top level are doing. This is not what jiu-jitsu is. Your whole, theory about computing and everything is complete garbage. You sound ridiculous. No one believes you. No one, there's no proof. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well,
hold back.
You found the proof.
I know. I had nothing, I was like, I kind of felt like I was completely lost my love for jiu-jitsu. And I went to Vegas with my friend Caesar, and I competed out there, and I won. I did great. And then I was like, just didn't care. And I was like, this is just stupid at this point. And, I knew Mikey was around, and I had some friends of friends. And I told Caesar, I was like, bro, like, I need your car. Like, let's go. And so he jumps in the car with me. He drives me over. We train at Mikey's. Mikey just absolutely obliterates me and makes me want to rethink my life. And we have a saying about Mikey. We call him Nightcrawler. I don't know if I think we talked about it last time.
We did.
It's just like,
that's X-Men.
Yeah. I call that Spider Monkey. I say Spider Monkey, where it's just like, where is he? He's over there.
If that Spider Monkey was a super genius that wanted to kill you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that conversation though, really, it like Nick said, it was like, here's the proof. It's real. Not only does he believe the same things that I believe and view jiu-jitsu the same way, he's better at it by far. And he has the proof because he's already won worlds, and he's done everything, Yeah. And that was really the start of everything. And I came back and I told Nick, and I was like, bro, like, you're like,
we're on the right track. Here.
Like, we got to meet Mikey. Like, and then after that, like, we all stayed tight, and then, when things with Marcelo kind of the COVID and everything shut everything down, it was like we didn't have anybody to promote us or whatever. And at this point, Mikey has been behind the scenes talking to us. He's been a good friend to us. He's helped us out so much. Talking to us about technique, about competition mindset, about life, whatever it is that we need. We all talk about these things together. And he was like, can I just promote you guys? And we were just like,
damn,
it's
like getting adopted.
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah,
fucking honor.
It's like when you go to a restaurant and you're like, "Oh, do you want like sweet potato fries instead of French fries?" You're like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, y'all.
Yeah, and that,
lottery ticket.
That's kind of what it was, though, and it was like the best thing ever. And then him and I were just like, "What the heck?" And then he was basically like, we won brown belt Pan Ams, and then right after that, Mikey was like, "Oh, I'll be in town or whatever for whatever he was going on." It was basically like, I have a free like weekend. Like, can you guys come out and then like I can promote you? And we were both like, I don't know what we were doing, but we're not doing it.
Yeah.
So we just bought flights, dipped out, and it was the most surreal, wild, like, experience for us to be promoted by, somebody that we actually genuinely look up to for years, and someone who has the jiu-jitsu that we aspire to have, and someone who is an amazing human that we truly respect, who values character over everything, the same that we do. So that meant the world to us.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather, man. I think you guys found what you were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy because we think back and literally the best way it could have played out is the way it played out. So we're just super blessed for, everything that happened up to this point. Like, we can't really say that, things happen for a reason, but I'm happy that they did happen the way that they happened. And
we like talk about it all the time, right? Where we're like, everybody who's like, oh, like it doesn't work out for us or whatever. We're like, are you doing the work? Because like when we just put all this work in, it's like just good things just somehow started to keep happening. So we just kept pushing each other to work hard.
Yeah, there's a saying about like luck and hard work. I don't know.
Well, there's two sayings. One is like, it's funny, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Right? And then the other one that I like to say,
Henzo says that one.
Yeah. Oh, shout out. I'm a Henzo guy.
I don't know I don't know if he's the originator, but he says it. Go ahead.
traveling gym guy over here. And the other one is luck is defined by opportunity meeting preparedness.
Preparation.
Or I think preparedness is a word too, right?
Yeah.
Or preparation, whatever. Yeah. You can use them.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Mismo.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sometimes you just have you guys ever seen that meme of the guy like mining and like there's gold on the other side?
It's like,
and he quits right before.
He just has to strike a couple more times and he's about to hit gold, but he just gives up at the very last second.
Yeah.
There's something to that, right? Because
the Phil's name he told me a while ago. So I had I remember it. There, I had somebody told me a quote. I just lost really bad, and I was like, man, like I'm doing everything, whatever. And he told me, he was like, your day will come. You just have to make sure you show up that day.
Damn.
And I was like, bet. Yeah. And I just like always competed like crazy, and eventually it came.
Yeah, and especially like in our situation where the pandemic hit us. And there was that real conversation being had, like, what do we do? Like we didn't have jobs at that time. Like he got fired. I couldn't go to Marcel's and be an assistant instructor. I couldn't get privates because no one wanted to do jiu-jitsu during a pandemic, right? So like that conversation was really real. And the fact that we were able to stick with it and then film those courses and then, compete at Pan Ams after opening up Movement Art and then that opening up the door for Mikey to promote us, like, there really is something to be said about just stick with it. You're going to hit those lows, but you don't know what's waiting for you on the other side. If you just stay consistent, you keep your head down and you keep working hard.
Well, it's 100%. Like, I know we say a lot in jiu-jitsu, like just you want to get 1% better every day. And actually, I really did the conversation that I cited at the beginning of this, the interview or the podcast it was real. And I actually told that person, because he's like getting back into jiu-jitsu. And I actually told him, I was just like, listen, brother, just one foot in front of the other. You're going to get there, right? You don't start at the destination, right? Just put one foot in front of the other and you will get there. But you gotta keep on walking. You got to keep on doing it. And don't worry so much about the belt. Don't worry so much about you had a bad day. You'll get there, right? He's a brown belt. You've trained for close to 10 years, but he's been out of the game. And just keep on moving forward. You're going to get there. Don't worry so much. Don't overthink it. I think a lot, I know myself, like I tend to overthink things. And then again, I have I'll go to jiu-jitsu on a Monday night. I put it this way. I told my wife, I've told her this many times. If you ever need to have an argument with me or you want to win an argument,
send me.
Get me when I come home from jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to roll over and play that's it. That's the time that you're going to get what you want. That's so true. Because I'm just so like, it's like those few minutes after sex, man. You're just like, whatever, baby, whatever you want, man. I love you. Yeah, that's it. That's the time to get me. And then you're going to be a happy life.
Yeah. I say the same thing about muggers. Like, if you want to mug me and steal my money, do it when I'm coming home from Marcel's on the train ride home.
Bro.
I ain't resisting.
Hey, we're gonna have to edit that out because that's like a secret fear I fear for like a lot of people. Like you catch me right out the gym, like right when I sweaty bag. I probably just got my ass whooped.
I get that's kind of like, I guess it's like I would equate that to like the runner's high. Like I'm just like, I feel so great in those moments after. I feel good. I feel like nothing can bring me, nothing's going to bring me down. And I really have had that conversation with my wife. Like just that's when you want to get me. You have a problem, you have an argument, you want to win an argument, get me then.
I started changing one habit. So I used to find that I would go to jiu-jitsu and like try and like hype myself up for jiu-jitsu sometimes. And I would listen to like something that would get me like hypey, whatever that is for me. And then after I'd be done with jiu-jitsu, I get in the car, it's Bluetooth because we live in the future. It just starts playing. Yeah. And I was like, I was listening to that. What the and I want to listen to something like, I don't know, like just more like
chill.
I'm super chill. Yeah. And then, so now I just started like, okay, well, I like the way I feel afterwards. So I'm just going to condition myself to feel like that before. So I started listening to like
after music.
Yeah.
Before?
Like Sublime or something like that. Just like on the way in. Yeah.
But then they can mug you at any time.
Right. Hence why we're editing this whole chunk out.
There's a window like when you're training, you're not getting mugged. You're all tough. You're feeling great.
For
all
sure.
Right? You come out from the door to your car. You're still decently frustrated. If you lost any rounds, you're still ready to mess somebody up. Yeah. Once you get in your car and start driving, it starts to dissipate again. That's when you're really susceptible. But so I think like from the door to your car after jiu-jitsu, you're probably still okay because as soon as somebody grabs you, you're just going to be like, man, that guy passed my guard. And you're like, you're going to be ready to go.
Still on it. But I say that because there were so many situations on the train home where I did have people try to fight me or provoke, some response.
He's got some stories, bro, that are hilarious.
Is it because they knew that you trained, or they saw like you're in a Ghee or in a jiu-jitsu, or the ears,
right? So something's bound to happen. But no, this would usually happen if I had my hoodie up or if I had like a beanie covering up my ears or something. But yeah, usually some crackhead, some hooligan is trying to mess with you, trying to provoke you. So yeah, those opportunities are funny because they're probably thinking, oh, this pussy, like he ain't gonna do anything. Exactly. Oh, look at him, he's really not doing anything. I'm just like, I'm in total bliss. I'm like, bro, I just trained 8 hours today. Like you have no idea,
You gotta roll that beanie up. Take, it's like the ADT sign, the ADT sign in front of the houses. They're like, security system by.
So he literally wears a beanie and it's rolled up and his ears are showing.
Deadliest catch.
I have ever seen that wears a beanie with his ears showing.
The only thing worse than a guy trying to fight you because your beanie is down is a dude that goes, yo, this guy's a badass. Everybody don't mess with this guy when your beanie is up. So I've had too many situations where I had like some drunk dude.
So you hide your ears?
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to talk about UFC, anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
dude, that's too funny.
I'm curious now that you guys are gym owners, and let me say it this way. I know that I've had a lot of conversations with people that like I've turned what was essentially a hobby into a business, right? And it's worked out well. We're doing well with the podcast. But a lot of people like they say when you turn your hobby into your job or into a business, people have been scared that they would lose the passion and then they lose that thing that caused them so much, joy.
Yeah.
Has anything changed for you now that you own a gym?
Oh, dude, I love it more.
Yeah.
I feel like I love it more. Yeah. I get to train more. I get to have the environment be kind of a representation of like the things that we believe. And basically we always say like we tried to create an atmosphere that we never had. We tried to give people what we never had, what we wish we had. So growing up in jiu-jitsu, if you will, what are the things that like would have saved us a ridiculous amount of time? Well, if someone had told me really early on to focus on this thing instead of that thing and just save me hours of studying on something that I don't even use anymore, then that would have really, really helped me. Having the right environment, the right people to lift you up when you're down, the right people to push you when you're tired, and people that you can, count on and just have a good time with while you all you're like-minded, surrounded by the right people. It's so much better. I feel it's so hard to.
And I feel like it helps that we genuinely love teaching people, and we're super passionate about teaching people jiu-jitsu. I actually had a student not too long ago ask me this question. They asked me, "What feels better to you? Do you get a more rewarding feeling when you win that gold medal or when you win a match, or do you get more of that feeling when you watch your student win?" And I went I was actually pretty surprised by that question. It actually took me aback a little bit, and I thought about it. And to be honest, I think we would both agree with this. I get more of a feeling of, happiness and satisfaction when I see my students succeed and when I see them win those matches and those tournaments that they worked so hard to win, And I think that's really what's going to contribute to the longevity of this sport. Like we talk about all the time, we can't compete forever.
Yeah.
There's a physical clock to what we do in jiu-jitsu, but the teaching and the coaching, that's something we can do forever. And that's the part that I have to admit that I actually enjoy more than the competition itself. Yeah. So when people ask, "Oh, are you going to get burnt out?" It's like, no, maybe from competing, I could see myself burning out, but from teaching, I don't think that's possible.
I feel like for me, it's the same. I feel like they're both even though. I feel like the push I get from competing, that feel, whatever, that enjoyment, and then the enjoyment from teaching, I could not compete for a long time and only teach and be great. And I've done this at different times when injuries, I can't compete, whatever. And then other times where I'm just only traveling and competing for months and months on end, every weekend, something like that. I went one time for I think it was almost 3 months. Yeah, it was 3 months. I literally competed every weekend in a row. It was just stupid, except for one weekend I was traveling. It was just stupid. And I just remember being I really enjoyed the competing and not having to worry about teaching. And then other times really enjoyed the teaching without having to worry about competing. So just like he's saying, I don't think we're going to get burnt out if we continue to teach and train and compete with the mindset that we do about, learning how to compute faster, loving the process of learning and winning or just doing well as a side effect instead of the main goal.
Because to a point, you are kind of living vicariously through your students, right? When it's to the point where I can't physically do jiu-jitsu anymore or compete in jiu-jitsu anymore, I'm just going to vicariously live through the students who do compete. So
man, I got kind of a weird, almost ethical question.
Go for it.
Would it be rude, even if they didn't know, if you took a student and he took a student and you both made a pact to not cross teach the students? To see, you pick a 4-stripe white belt that is not going to quit, a high percentage not quitter, you could tell them out. And then from that moment on, you pick one, he picks one. And then they battle at blue, purple. And then you guys just a long play, who makes it to black. You could have 30 different spread bets.
It'd be an absolute experiment. That's
it's not
sample A,
so
sample
it's not
B.
only about who can teach information the most effectively, or the information that's going to be most effective, but it's also about how can we keep that student stimulated and engaged enough to last until black belt, right? So that's a pretty interesting question.
And then
Danny just went to the bathroom.
Coachability.
Danny just went to the bathroom. I feel like he's really going to like this one.
Yeah,
but that'd be super interesting.
I think long play.
It's hard to say because we're so similar in the philosophies and methodologies that we teach and use. So I would imagine that it'd be really similar, the end product on both ends. I think it would really come down to, you're no. I think it would come down to other variables, who are we choosing to represent us, right?
Yeah.
Is he getting a more athletic, maybe
you guys,
learner?
You're getting caught up in the details, man. You're picking a three. It was a
I'm trying to lawyer myself out of this, bro.
It was a joke. But it's you pick 4 similar 4-stripe white belts that have good staying potential. And then you make an agreement not to talk to each other, but coach and not talk to each other's student and just coach them individually. And then you test them at each belt level against each other. And then you make different spreads on all the things. What I think would naturally happen is
Miguel loves this, dude. He's
I don't think that's their personality, though. That's
I know.
Everything is. So but
what would happen?
My next question is going to kind of play. I think it'll make sense when I hear you guys talk. together and individually, you make maybe it's not a conscious effort. Maybe it's just natural for you. You always say we won gold. We do it this way. Like it's never me. This is the way I do it. You know, you guys are so. Is that conscious? Did you guys have a conversation about like when we go out there and talk about our jiu-jitsu, we're saying we or is it just is this natural and it was never discussed?
I mean, I don't feel like it even crosses my mind. Like we literally do. Like the whole process has been done together, right? Like before Danny, I didn't have someone to bounce ideas off of or train full time with. Yeah. Like it's really hard to imagine a version of myself that's not only successful in jiu-jitsu, but is as good at jiu-jitsu without him. So I don't like, that's and then going back to Miguel's question, like it would be the same curriculum, like all the concepts and all the jiu-jitsu, like our jiu-jitsu is the same. Like maybe
4 white belts and 4 white belts.
Yeah. So, and the way I would explain it is like, you know, I drill with him every day. So even if we're focusing on different things, like different aspects of jiu-jitsu, it all comes together in the end anyways. So
it's science, right? And here's the thing. There's a fun, like a thought experiment that people can play where they say, like, imagine that all technology on Earth gets wiped out tomorrow and humanity survives, no problem. They're doing great. Obviously, technology is going to rebuild itself. Right. And science is going to become a thing again. And what's going to happen is everything that is scientifically proven can again be scientifically proven. And all of that will just simply regrow exactly the same because that's how it is. Right. And that's how we believe jiu-jitsu is it's just science. It's literally math. Right. And so it's just this plus this equals that. Drives in with the upper body. He's leading with the shoulders. You frame the shoulders. He can't drive in anymore. It'd be like that. Sometimes, you know, you don't think it'd be like that because they're really athletic or they're a wrestler or they're bigger or they're whatever. But the reality is, unless they can actually just crush your bones, in which case you have a much bigger problem. And I suggest just don't do jiu-jitsu with that person. They're not getting through. And this is something I talk to my mom about a lot. She's like, oh, like, do you think they're just going easy in this position or that position? And I'm like, all right, let's be honest here, okay? Unless they're going to go through your bone structure, if you're aligning your skeletal system in a certain way and you're framing the exact thing that they're driving forward with, in this case, their shoulders, where are they going to go? They have to stop driving with their shoulders and then go to the side or flop their knee on you, or they have to do something else. And then if you can just compute at that level, then you don't need the athleticism.
Jiu-jitsu is the constant, and then people are the variable.
Exactly. And the real variable within people, because we all have mostly two arms, 2 legs, and sometimes a spine.
You got that black belt in the wheelchair, the bodybuilder black belt guy. That dude's gnarly.
I knew he'd pull one out.
I'm not gonna lie though, like you can't leg lock somebody if they don't have a leg. So it's like jiu-jitsu. Okay, now that's a new variable. Jiu-jitsu itself could change, but then it's like as long as they have arms, legs, and a skeletal structure, this is the canvas that we're working on, and the rules of art are all exactly the same. Once the brush touches the paper, that's where the mark will be left. You know, there's very like perfect like rules to the physical realm that we all have to live by. And then within that, there's preference. I can prefer to shoot my shot and pass guard. I can prefer to pull guard and play guard. I can prefer to maybe go for the berimbolo and the back take, or I could prefer to just stand up and sweep, or, you know, whatever else. So it's like there's preference in that. And then that would be maybe like a style would be the most logical version of someone who prefers to pass. And then maybe the most logical version of somebody who prefers to play guard, and so on. But yeah, that's an amazing question. It's super fun. But like his students and my students would basically end up all having the same information. And then it's just like, maybe some of them would prefer to stay on top. Some would prefer to stay on bottom. And they would probably decide that based on certain attributes that they have, or fears or insecurities that they have. Someone who's maybe really got open hips and they're naturally more flexible, they might gravitate more towards guard, because when they make a mistake and they need to compensate with athleticism, that flexibility is going to save them. And then someone who's maybe a lot stronger on top, they can say, well, maybe if I don't do this past sequence or whatever perfectly, I can always just like try to compensate with athleticism and just like smash really hard, and like maybe I could get away with that.
Guilty.
So Miguel, you weren't here last episode. You weren't here last episode. We renamed the last segment of the show.
Yeah.
We used to call it a speed round. We're now calling it.
I just leave one time. All this
We're now calling it the drill down.
The what?
The drill down.
The drill down.
The drill down.
I'm glad I wasn't around when you made that up.
I want like that noise, like, and
dude,
a big graphic on screen
down.
now.
Hey, I could just do it here now.
The drill down.
The drill down.
All right, I'm not gonna make fun of it. I promise.
That was suggested by actually somebody from my gym who listens to the show, and
he thought of the drill down.
The drill down.
All right.
All right,
Miguel, it's not.
But remember, it's not. It's the drill down. With
the whole
thing.
Miguel is thinking.
What's that? What's that, guys?
If you add the air horn, it for sure beats speed round.
Yeah.
Without the air horn, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a toss up.
We'll figure it out.
I like drill down, but like. It's got me all over the place. You know what I mean?
Because you got a fucked up mind. This is a.
Hey, I work for a drilling company, dude.
Nick, there you go.
Literally lay pipe.
Literally
bro.
says Florida drilling. So we did it with it. We're gonna do it with both of you, Nick. You're gonna answer these again as well, anyway. But this is about 6-7 questions that we ask every guest, just to get a kind of like these are the common questions that people like send in and ask, or ones that we've just kind of thrown in that we like that we want to hear from every guest.
Is this like I say a word and you tell me what you think as fast as possible?
I got rid of the speed round part.
Tell me
I got rid of the speed round part so you can elaborate. You can take it anywhere you want.
Oh, okay.
You know what would have been really cool?
Take our time a little bit.
Yeah. We're in no rush. That's why I got rid of the speed round, because I would tell everybody we call it the speed round, but please elaborate. That makes sense.
No, that's totally fair. But like, I'm just curious, what's the pass fail margin? I don't want to get too many wrong. So
no, these aren't right. There's no right or wrong. This is jiu-jitsu.
You get a participation trophy.
Okay.
All right.
It's like the kids class. You're like, any more questions? They're like, why is the sky blue? Why is fire hot? Why is water wet? It's like, bro.
Yeah. Why does pizza come in a square box in a circle and cut into triangles?
Ooh. Look at Danny's face when he said that.
Wait, so we got the right and wrong here. All right. So question number 1: preference: ghee or no ghee?
Ooh,
whatever.
Oh, damn.
This
is why those white belts would be different. Bro, Cold War tactics. That's what I'm saying.
I would just say, like, I love them both, but whatever one I feel like I'm learning more in at that moment. Sometimes I'm learning more in ghee. Sometimes I'm learning more in no ghee.
Damn.
Okay. Nick?
Yeah, I'm going to say ghee probably 90% of the time, because I just feel like there's more puzzles involved with solving problems in the ghee. Like, I feel like there's more variables, right? When you go against someone who's stronger than you, you actually feel that strength intensify in the ghee, whereas I feel like strength isn't as much of a variable in no ghee. You can get away with a lot more, especially when you start sweating. I feel like sweat isn't a variable in the ghee, so I'm going to go with ghee being more fun, having more puzzles.
All right.
Bam.
That's kind of say you're still learning more in the ghee. Oh, that's really cool.
There's more to learn.
So takedown or pull guard?
Guard pull.
What day is it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
It's that Tuesday. It's
Tuesday
the Thursday
you're
that
shooting,
you said you feel like shit after the Wednesday.
Is this like weight cut, Nick? Or is this like after I'm done competing, I'm eating Taco Bell, feeling a little slow and heavy?
Foot sweeps.
Now we're getting a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. I don't know why, but every time, like after a tournament and I blow up, right? Because we go on the eating frenzy after we're done competing. I literally do a whole week of just like stand up to take down to just like pass. Like I don't play any guard for an entire week after one.
It'd be like that.
Milk was a bad choice.
So wait, did we get an answer on each? Did we get an answer from Danny?
Oh, what was it? Takedown
or pull guard?
It's like him. It depends how much food I have in my system at that time.
All right, I'll take it.
I feel like these are going to be all the answers, bro, because you guys are like, you're path of least resistance with everything. You're just like, I can't tell you for certain what I'm going to be doing at a certain time because,
dude, but that's why I think we pull guard in like most all of our competitions. We pull guard because a lot of them we do cut a little bit of weight to get there, so there's less food in my system. So that's why I pull guard.
Yeah. Facts.
All right, so now
calculation to it.
I know that we've talked about studying jiu-jitsu. Are you like, after a long day at the gym, you go home? Are you watching jiu-jitsu videos? Are you really going home and studying? Is that happening during the day, or are you going home and you guys are studying more tape?
This is the part where you make us the truth. Yeah, this is the part where you make us sound like we have no lives.
Wait. Do you want us to sound like? You want us to sound socially relatable?
Yeah. What's wrong with you guys?
I like to know like how. I know some people are like, if I'm an accountant, I don't want to go home and look at numbers, right? You know, is that the feeling? Like during the day, that time that I'm at the gym, I might be, I'm watching, videos on my lunch break or between classes, whatever. So, or when you go home, does it stop? And it's like, okay, I'm putting that away.
Like a schizophrenic or something like that, and they just have voices in their head, and then they like say they have a job, and this is totally hypothetical here. If they have a job as a voice actor or something like that, and they show up to work and they do voices, and then they go home, the voices aren't stopping. And it's like, there's an old joke.
That's my life.
Oh, like, he's schizophrenic, but he's great people. But it's like,
but he's great people.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it be for us. I feel it's like we love jiu-jitsu, and then we come home from jiu-jitsu so that we can study more jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I feel that.
And I feel there's a lot of hats to be worn when you are involved in jiu-jitsu. I feel like the parts where we're teaching more and the parts where we're training more, I feel like I'm able to separate that in my brain from like the actual studying or the me time where I'm sitting down and actually learning or breaking down a position. So I feel like when I get home, I don't feel like studying like really interferes, or like the feeling of being burnt out from the physical training interferes with me wanting to be mentally engaged or to watch something and study something, if that makes sense.
You guys are like chefs, man.
What about your physical training, like mobility, stretching? Like that's another hat you have to wear. You have to be your own physical trainer.
And that's the same thing. It's like, people ask me, oh, do you stretch? Do you do mobility? I say, yes. They say, do you work out, lift weights? I say, yes. They say, do you study every day? I say, yes. Do you teach every day? Yes. Do you train and actually roll to students? I say, yes. Do you drill with Danny? I say, yes. I have time for all these things in my day, but all those things are separate from each other. So when I'm doing mobility, I'm in love with mobility, and that's not going to interfere with me studying. That's not going to interfere with me teaching, because I feel like they're so different that my brain is able to compartmentalize them in a way where I can put my full attention to each of those tasks.
And this is something that I do as well, basically exactly the same, but Nick really helped me with it. I used to multitask so much more. And, he's really helped me, and, my girlfriend's helped me with it as well a lot, of just like, hey, just get this thing done and then do this thing and then do this thing. And it's like you were saying, if you feel you have all this stuff, you get nothing done. So it's like, it's really cool to just be like, I do this thing, I get it done. And then what's the next thing? And then what's the next thing? And if you have that compartmentalized approach for your, say, what are you awake for like 16 hours or whatever it is? It's like, boom, then like that is your
everything gets done.
How do you eat an elephant?
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
And then of course,
just like,
if you have a training session where you feel like a lot of mistakes were made, maybe you just weren't successful in a particular position, I honestly can't wait for that to get home and start studying and try to refresh my brain on some things that I wasn't able to execute during my rounds.
But then it's annoying because you got to wait till the next day to go try it.
Yeah.
Man, so you're anxious about doing that.
So that goes into my next question. Do you guys are both in relationships? Do your girlfriends train?
Well,
we know your mom trains. We've heard of heard of Mama Freestyle. So
yeah,
girlfriends know.
My girlfriend doesn't train recreationally. She will pop in time to time, if like you were saying previously, like if she's a nurse, so if she's having a hard day, she will train to kind of release some of that stress and stuff. But she's also very like involved if I need something. So for example, if I need to drill something, she's open to the idea of me being like, hey babe, can you put on a Ghee real quick? We'll be watching TV and something will come to my head. Yeah. I'll be like, babe, can you put a Ghee on real quick? And she'll let me brainstorm on her. So she's super supportive. and she's involved in jiu-jitsu in that way. So this is actually pretty funny. We were talking last night, and she was like, "Hey, did you finish watching the Mikey Musumeci podcast?" And I was like, "No, I'm like 10 minutes in. What do you mean? You watched it already?" She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
The Rogan podcast.
Yeah, the Rogan.
It was dope. So, yeah, I watched. I watched
so
it.
It's really. She's not directly involved in jiu-jitsu, but she's involved enough where I feel like she supports me and she's able to, help me out with a few things.
She's also stupid good in certain positions that you can tell he's drilled way too much.
Dude, she has the best Berimbolo defense out of everyone. And people don't believe me when I say this, but imagine this is before I met Danny. So imagine like you're trying to drill all these techniques, but you have no one to drill with. So I'm drilling with my girlfriend and I'm teaching her like, oh, go turn this way and frame my leg like this.
She
go
got
on both hands and just crawl backwards. So I'm teaching her how to beat the Berimbolo. She doesn't know what jiu-jitsu is. She doesn't really train all that much, but she knows how to counter the Berimbolo with each reaction. So she has one of the best Berimbolo defense I've ever seen.
It's actually hilarious because
she wants to get it over with, so she learned how to do it right.
Dude, I took the bolo her. I feel like the two of us, they call us the bolo bros. We're pretty good at bolos. I think that's fair to say.
I can bolo world-class jiu-jitsu athletes, but I can't bolo my girlfriend.
Yeah, this man, dude, this man took Thiago Maceiro's back in 10 seconds. He took AJ Agazarm's back in 5.
Wifey's batting 1,000.
He has a really hard time bowling.
Dude, Danny would just
do it.
Danny would just watch me if I'm drilling with her in a corner and just see me fail and like become frustrated. And he'll just start cracking up. He's like,
dude,
I'm like, you want to try? He's
I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't want to. It depends on the day.
It's Thursday.
I'm like, if it's a Thursday, I don't want to hate my life.
So how about you, Danny? Your girlfriend? She just not involved with jiu-jitsu at all?
No. She's super smart. She has a corporate job and she works her butt off, and she has her own goals and everything that she is very motivated in and works really hard towards those goals, very similar to the way that I do towards jiu-jitsu. And she's highly intelligent and a lot of fun, but she's tried it. She's the kind of person who's like, I'm not gonna say no, I'm not gonna do it until she'll try it, and then she'll make up her mind after that. So I have so much respect for her with that, but it's so funny because it's like she tried it and then she was like, oh, like it's cool, like she's like, it's kind of nerdy, it's fun, it's cool. But she's, I think maybe this is speculation for me, but so put off by the nasty, sweaty.
That's my wife.
Don't touch me.
But
I think it's like
I'll
that.
tell you
my wife's the same exact way.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Danny's girlfriend, she's super observant. She watches class. So I feel like she knows a lot because she'll see like a situation where someone else is training and she'll be able to like tell like if what they're doing is legit jiu-jitsu or not. And there's been situations where she's like, that looks a little sketchy. We're like, yes, Kelly. It's super sketchy. So she knows enough where like she can distinguish between like legitimate jiu-jitsu or not. So
yeah, pretty cool. It's so fun. There'll be times where I'll be annoyed by some reaction or something, or I'll see something online or whatever, and I'll just like I'll kind of gripe about it a little bit, and she's like, what are they even doing? Like, this doesn't even make any sense. She's like, I don't even train. This makes no sense to me. She goes, what does it do? And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me either.
Man, she's debunking. She must be like a mechanical engineer.
My wife wants nothing to do with jiu-jitsu whatsoever. I always say never. Don't share videos. She doesn't want to watch. She doesn't. She's good. It's good for you. Go ahead. I support you, but nothing. Doesn't want to step on the mat. I got her a Ghee. Tried to like, hey, we'll just at the house. We'll just play around. I'll show you some stuff. So you learn how to protect yourself. Nothing. She does kickboxing classes. That's what she likes. She likes it. She likes hitting the bag. She's doing some type of self-defense.
I think that's for the best because I can't imagine like if I had a girlfriend that was as obsessed with jiu-jitsu as I am or as Danny is. Like I feel like
too much. Go away.
Mechanics cars, man.
It's not healthy at that point.
There's no way that goes because it's just going to be the most like competitive, toxic like relationship you could imagine. I would guess, you know. And I've heard about people who have a high level of jiu-jitsu in their relationship. Like the both of them are high level competitors, and it's just kind of like I've heard stories that it just goes very south very quickly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if like some people, I mean, I guess you kind of get over it, but if I had to watch my wife gets smashed by, if she was rolling with a guy that I roll with, like getting smashed by a guy, I don't know if that would be upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Right?
To everybody. Yeah.
Like, especially like, she had somebody
if it was like
sitting on her head, like grabbing a Kimura,
like the dick dudes. Like the dude who's a dick at the gym.
Get your balls off my wife's head,
Yeah.
I don't.
No north south.
It would bother me. Yeah.
But I've seen that. Like, I've seen situations where, like, the girlfriend or wife will get injured in a round with someone else, and then the black belt boyfriend's like, "Oh yeah, you want to roll?" And then it's like,
"Oh, guys, that's so dumb."
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I joke about the support, but I'm glad that I wouldn't mind if she learned. And my school actually has a really good female only program now, where the females can just roll with the females. So I do like that, but I'm kind of glad that she has her own thing, and she. Yeah. Until she found kickboxing, I jokingly call it dance fighting because it's just like kind of like capoeira. Exercising in the bed.
Yeah, it's cardio kickboxing.
Yeah, like an I love kickboxing style. They're better than that. They have like a lot of different programs. They work with like the elderly with Alzheimer's, and they do weight training, and so they do other stuff. So it's not like that. But I joke with her. I tell her it's dance fighting.
Yeah.
But I'm glad until she found that she didn't understand my obsession with jiu-jitsu. Yeah. I was 6 days a week, 2 hours a day when I first started. Monday through Saturday, open mats at other gyms. They'd come to us. We'd go to them. We had like a sister gym, and she was just like, some days I'd have to open and be there for 4 or 5 hours. I'd have to help out the coach. It was a small gym, and she'd be like, I'd come home. She'd be like, really? 5 hours? You got out of work?
Yeah.
At 5, went to train at 5:30. It's 10:30, 11 o'clock. Really? She just looked at me like, really? You need to do this much jiu-jitsu? And then she found kickboxing, and it was never an issue again. I also stopped training that long because I had to hear her. Plus, I was getting older. But I do now that she has that, she understands it and goes, okay, I get it.
You ever been around your wife like during a time period where you couldn't train? I feel like that's when they really realize the importance of training. Like over vacation, I'm like starting to drill stuff. I'm like, girlfriend, I'm starting to practice chokes. She's like, you know what? Go to just leave. Just
for
go.
Real.
Well,
I learn real quick.
She knows. Again, Monday was a perfect example. I told her, she's like, it's Monday. She's like, you're going to jiu-jitsu? She knows my days. And I said, I had a really hard day. I'm staring at everything here. I'm getting nothing done because I'm just staring at, I can't figure out what the next thing is to do. I need a reset. I told her I need a reset. I've got to restart this because this isn't working. Yeah. I went, came back, and it was just like, I feel like a new person. I was a different person than when I left. So she gets that. She knows. And I've been hurt. I've had groin injury. I've blown out my knee before the pandemic. Weight training is what kind of got me through because it's the closest that I can get to that, like, that stress relief, that, kind of putting it's not the same. It's not the same as, literally trying to kill somebody. Somebody's trying to kill you, you're trying to kill them. Yeah. But I can get close to that with, getting in some cardio or lifting some weights. So I'm right now I'm hurt. I'm like training once a week just to get in there. And then the rest of the week is weight training.
Can I give you a hack? I just did this on vacation. So I went to a family wedding. I didn't tell anybody. I just told myself, nobody's getting an underhook on me. For real. All hugs, whatever interaction I had, even dancing on the dance floor with like in-laws, whatever. No I would even gently pummel, No underhooks.
Funny. Why does Miguel always go under my arms on hugs?
Yeah, it's weird.
2 points, porra.
Wait, is that not normal?
Yeah, exactly. Always fight for underhooks, right?
I can see you hugging like the guys and like, why is he
I'm
getting...
genuinely curious. Like,
I just imagine like Miguel goes to hug someone and he just lets them hug their head. So it's like, okay.
Oh, dude, easy double.
I'm genuinely curious. I didn't grow up with like hugs and all that. That's kind of like something I had to learn how to do. Yeah. But like, is that like the unders is not a hug? Is it like over under?
It's got to be over under.
I think usually.
Do it.
You get double if you go double unders on me, I'm just hugging your head.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
that's like the quick hug where you're just like, hey.
It depends on size of the person too.
The side hug. The side hug.
It's usually like an over under. If there's going to be an over under or the bro hug, it's like you're you get one hand and then the shoulders.
Hugging my wife, a double under real low.
Yeah, a woman, I guess, like, a smaller woman is going to reach up to grab you.
Yeah.
Under the hips and
no unders.
That's not how you.
No unders.
You ever meet someone you ever meet someone for the first time and like you're going like to, you know, you're greeting them or whatever, and you forget that you're not starting a round in jiu-jitsu, so you go for a slap and bump, but they go to bump you first, so it's like, go to bump me, and it's like
turkey. That's just turkey. Yeah.
I just fully commit to that. I commit to that. I'm so used to it.
Go, hey. And then they're not.
It's just waiting.
It's like, hello, darkness.
These days with COVID, it's still like, am I shaking? So if I go in for the shake and they come with the fist, I just really commit to it and slap that fist, just like a bump, like a slap bump, right? You know, I just kind of, you know,
you're like,
dude, my kids do jiu-jitsu.
Like, paper covers rock.
Because I usually do that. Even when I slap bump in jiu-jitsu, I slap and I bump. I do the flat-handed bump on their thing. Like, boom, boom.
You're a turkey guy.
Yeah. Turkey.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah, so I said turkey. So when people like you always go bump like this, I'll go fist, but I stick my thumb out and I'll go turkey. So it looks like a turkey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I'm a turkey. Yeah, I use on my boom, boom, let's go.
Or
you know?
The last one is the people that do no slap. They just go. Like just for
that's competition. That's competition. That's competition where they're like combate, and then you do that hesitant. Like if you shoot a single right now,
that close to each
other,
bro.
Yeah.
It looks like that, like the Green Lantern or something. They're like activating the rings, like no,
like that.
All right, so we have a couple more questions before we let you guys go. So, besides, I have to throw this part in here. Besides Mikey, who's your favorite competitor to watch?
Nick.
Damn, bro, you can't eat that. Say he limited your answer.
Come on,
I love you. Really? I love you
That's
too.
good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
No, like true story though. Like when we're talking about actually studying people, like there's people who I study. We study everybody. We watch everybody. We'll be watching purple belt matches from Worlds 4 years ago. We watch everything. But the people who I watch and I just go, oh my God, I wish my jiu-jitsu looked like that. It's Mikey and it's Nick. Yeah, wow. That's basically it.
Like when on the conversation about getting home and studying, one of my favorite pastimes is, because we have the security cameras at the school, is literally like scrubbing through.
I don't know. Are we allowed to say that? Or?
Yeah, I scrub through.
They're not hidden cameras.
Yeah.
No, they're not hidden.
I've always wondered that. Because sometimes I want the tape.
We're nerds, right? So of course we're trying to make sure everyone's safe, that, you know, we're keeping everything in check. But why not use it for an extra benefit? Why not scrub through it and see how Danny deals with a certain reaction? Say like a visitor came in and I'm like, man, like they were doing something that stopped me in De La Hiva. Let me see how Danny dealt with that. Oh, that's awesome. Like, why didn't I think of that? You know? Mm-hmm. So it's extra study thing, basically. We use it as that sometimes. So this point, like, I feel like I learn a lot from Danny, you know, outside of Mikey. I'm trying to see what he does in certain spots. I'm trying to learn from him, trying to be more like him. You know?
But to give you guys a little bit, some people that we do like to study that I think is really fun to watch, probably be like Hoffa. He's really fun to watch. Tynan, the young guns coming up are super fun.
Sick. Gordon Ryan is a big one.
Gordon
he's pretty
good.
He's okay.
He's okay.
No, Gordon,
he's going places.
His body, I have to say, like, out of everyone right now, I feel like Gordon has one of the best body positions, right? Like, not that he's doing anything crazy different, right? He definitely has some details that has really changed the passing game. But I think more than anything is his body positioning is so superior to everyone else, right? He's able to go to like what looks like a regular half guard, but he's able to project so much more weight and be so much more dominant because of how he's positioning his head, how he's positioning his spine, where he's weighting his upper body, where he's framing with his lower body. So like all these little things he's
wet
doing
blanket
with his body.
jiu-jitsu that he has.
It's just, like,
exactly.
What's that movie, Austin Powers, when he's in the steamroller in the hallway and he's trying to like do like 1,000-point turn to get out of there or whatever?
Like,
like
no
that.
Way out.
Gordon Ryan's the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get out.
You can't.
Predictions on the Galval fight? What are you guys thinking?
I'm gonna have to go with Gordon. I feel like he has a lot of momentum. He's been more active. I feel like it's a no-brainer, but I think it depends on the amount of engagement on both ends, right? Like Andre Galvan can go in there and be like, all right, let's see who has the best jiu-jitsu, and I think it'll be a fun match. Or he could go in there and be like, all right, let me see how I can make it look like I'm engaging, but I'm not really engaging. Let me see if I can stall out. Let me see if I can, it depends on the strategy, of course. But
Danny?
I'm going to have to go with Gordon.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gordon too. Just from a jiu-jitsu nerd standpoint, I feel like watching how they deal with certain reactions and then how they move, I just feel like Gordon has the edge for sure. I also feel like he's bigger. And so, I mean, even if somebody wants to just play a physical game with him, it's like he's kind of huge. Yeah. So he's got the physicality on his side and a little bit more maybe of the technical approach to it, as opposed to Gaval has, he's got one of the best tactical approaches to jiu-jitsu that maybe we've ever seen. So really, really good tactics versus, I think, maybe a little bit more technique. And I think they're both incredibly physical specimens. It's absolutely nuts. Like their muscles have muscles. So
yeah,
it's pretty big.
I think Gordon is our Tyson, or at least to me, to like the jiu-jitsu regular, because within the jiu-jitsu community, there are regular jiu-jitsu people, and then there are people who really study the game. Mm-hmm. I think to most people, they tune into the Tyson fight for the knockout and just think he's a brute. And then the technical people know that, he had Costamato as his coach and since 14, and he watched tape, and he would just go to New York, all day and compete all the time and study tape. And that's all he did, and I feel like that's Gordon. He's like the brains and the brawn. Like, that's and Galval's great. He's got a ton of experience. You can watch Galval videos, him rolling black belt mundials, green and yellow mats at like 780p resolution. He's OG. He's OG.
But I feel like age is going to play a huge factor.
He's also running an empire. Like Gordon Ryan isn't like running New Wave, right? I'm sure he's doing stuff with it, but he's got a lot of help. Like
he's running an Instagram page though, and he responds to like every hater. So that's got to be basically the same thing.
There's a lot of people. I think people just pretend to hate to get a reply.
So we didn't talk before. I have a couple of other questions, but talk about your new BJJ Fanatics. So you guys said you were you were just filming.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, no, not shameless. Do it.
Share it. It's awesome.
we were just up filming at BJJ Fanatics up in Boston. Those guys are absolutely amazing, really professional, and super good people. And we were able to film a couple of courses up there. Be on the lookout for them soon. We're really, really excited to not just share our jiu-jitsu, but to share our jiu-jitsu over the internet like this to as many people as we can reach. One of the huge things that Nick and I really want to accomplish in our careers is to literally change the way jiu-jitsu is taught, jiu-jitsu is thought about, and jiu-jitsu is done. We want to have a huge influence on that. And so these instructionals that are coming out, we have a couple on some other platforms as well. Check those out. But all of our teaching, we hope that it will change people's view of jiu-jitsu, how it should be done, and view of teaching jiu-jitsu and how it should be taught. And ultimately, like what we try to convey, what makes jiu-jitsu so much fun for us and will help people, the most. So
you just answered my next question.
Yeah.
My next question was going to be, what's your ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu? And there's the answer.
That sums it up.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
A good goal to have, man.
Yeah, man.
This has been a really awesome conversation in terms of like the technicality.
Awesome. What's next for you guys? What's competition wise? Tell us what you have going on.
Yeah, I feel like right now we're just kind of taking a break from competition, focusing on teaching, but we do have a tournament coming up next month. So as you guys know, we haven't been getting a lot of tournaments around the Northeast New England area, right? But they just opened up registration for New Haven. So that's a real big one for us as a team because we haven't had those local IBJJFs. So our students have been kind of itching to get that experience and go out there as a team and see how we perform and have that, that team bonding experience. So Connecticut, 2.5 hours away.
I think it's like 2.5 hours. So we're just north of the city of Philadelphia. So anybody listening, if you're ever in the area, if you want to come and train, like we don't do drama and politics. Our doors are literally open. Come through. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, we kind of amassed a small team to take over there to Connecticut. So I'm excited to, see our students compete, get out there, get out of their comfort zone, see their jiu-jitsu, see how it plays out
in a competitive setting because some of the students are competing for the first time and they're a little nervous, but we're reassuring them that it's okay. Don't focus on winning, focus on showing as much jiu-jitsu as possible. And then, for certain, you're going to have fun if you look at it that way. So we're really excited to go out there with the team, put on a show, hopefully win that team trophy. So that's probably the biggest thing in the horizon. Yeah. For us. So,
don't forget to game the system and speak Portuguese to the ref.
Oh yeah, for sure. Everyone's Brazilian on our team.
Bro, yeah,
we're all Brazilian.
Yeah. Even if their name is Paul Smith. Paulinho Smith.
Paulinho.
Dude.
Canceled.
Smitch.
I'm allowed to do that because my parents are Brazilian. So.
There you go.
It's so funny in the gym. We're always joking, and like everybody has a nickname in the gym, like for the most part. And there's a Paulinho, there's a everybody's got a nickname.
Yeah, that's good. That's thinking about the whole game. That's big brain stuff right there.
Before we ask you our very last question,
not checkers.
I want to give you guys a second to shout out any sponsors. You want to say hello to anybody? This is your time.
You got any sponsors? Roll Union?
I would just say, come train at Movement Art. That would be the coolest thing. We love having visitors come through. We love, training with people from all over and talking to them. It's always a really, really good time. So I would put Movement Art as literally our first sponsor because that's, our career and job and everything. But come and visit for sure. We got movementart.online where, people can watch our classes and stuff like that. If you want to get a little vibe of the gym as well. Definitely come through and check that out. Come train with us. We're very accessible. Roll Union is a great company. They make a lot of really, really cool stuff that I really actually enjoy competing in. And I basically was just like, hey, I like your stuff. And I'd love to help you guys out as a company. They're a small company that's just growing. But they're really good people and I really love their gear. So I figured, hey, I'm not trying to sell out on some big company if I don't like their stuff. So I refuse to wear anything if I don't really like it. They've been really cool. And then my Instagram is at Danny Freestyle, but the L is a 1 because the L was taken. You can hit me up on there, message me, and I'll respond. And Nick, what's yours?
Yeah, so shout out to Moya Brand for supplying me with some of the dopest Ghees. I do have to give them a shout out because, for a long time before opening up Movement Art, I was in a situation where I couldn't afford to buy my own Ghees. So I'm super fortunate to have them. They supplied me with everything I needed to get to training, to compete with. And so without them, that would have been really tough. But like Danny had said, we have Movement Art Online. We try to update the database week to week. So make sure to check it out. We're posting up new videos soon on passing and berimbolo. So make sure you don't miss out on that. And YouTube. We have a YouTube page, Movement Art. Everything's Movement Art. So type it into the search bar and you'll see all the content that we're putting out there. At that Nick Salles on Instagram. We're also posting content on Instagram. We're posting breakdowns of techniques that we create, techniques that are proven to work at the highest level in competition. So we really try to put out as much content as possible to, educate the masses. So make sure to check us out on that. And I also want to give a shout out to everyone who supports us. So right now we have Nogi classes going on. And the reason we're able to even be on this podcast right now is because of Mama Freestyle, because of Kirk, our staff, Joaquin, Eric, who help us with the kid classes. So we're super fortunate to have everyone around us to, support our dream and be able to do what we love. So
yeah, all our students as well. You guys are all killing it. You guys are doing amazing. The vibe is amazing. And I would just shout out all our students and everybody that supports us online. Just like Nick is saying, thank you guys so much.
And shout out to the girlfriends.
And the girlfriends.
Can't forget about them.
Can't take her back.
Yeah.
You want to hit him with the last question?
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah. Do you or do you not wash your jiu-jitsu belt?
Oh my God.
Not as regularly as I should.
Yeah. You knew what you were
This
asking.
is like a traditional thing though too. Okay. So traditionally people didn't used to brush their teeth. We stopped getting away from that tradition because it's stupid. I don't know if allowing, staph and MRSA and ringworm fester and grow on your belt is a good idea. You're kind of a degenerate. I feel like if you allow those things to get on your skin or someone else's skin when you could just wash it and it could be clean.
Shots fired.
So I think that makes the most sense. But I understand that's a very controversial. There is tradition.
And we do have like lots of black belts. So we do have tons of different belts in the rotation. So it's not like, if you see us with a black belt on, chances are it's a different black belt each day, each class. So
Nick, I forgot how you answered this last time. I feel like he might be a non-belt washer, as he says he's got lots of belts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like one of those belts, say his Monday belt, right? His Monday belt, don't touch that on Friday.
Look, the fact of the matter is, you're gonna be hard pressed to find someone who is gonna wash their belt in between classes, right? They have morning class and night class, so chances are they're either wearing a new belt, right? Which is our case. We have lots of black belts, so we're always picking up a new one, putting it around our waist, or they're wearing the same belt, right? So sorry to shatter everyone's hopes and dreams, but your instructor most likely is wearing the same belt they wore that morning to the night class. So.
Or they have this weird suspicion that if you wash your belt, you magically lose all your skills. Duh. And you don't have any more information, which doesn't really make any sense.
Did you hear Miguel? Duh, of course you do.
Everybody knows that.
I just don't believe that. I just don't believe if I wash my belt, I lose all my skills.
The juju.
I do believe that ringworm and staph and MRSA are real, since it almost killed me before and I was in the hospital for 4 days. Not a fun time. I washed my belt.
There you go.
Way lesser problem. I think somebody gave me something, bro.
You got a little ringworm under your nose? No. Stay over there. Don't come too close. Bro, listen, guys, thank you so much for doing this again. Don't disconnect. We're going to come by the screen and take some pictures after we let you go. But hang out. Thank you so much for coming back on again, Nick. And Danny, you're welcome to leave Nick out next time, and we'll have you come on in the future by yourself. Pleasure, we can get your honest opinions about him next time.
You asked him to say, so who do you watch outside of Mikey?
Nick, not Nick.
Thank you guys so much for having us on. This is hella fun. You guys are amazing, and we love what you guys are doing, both for jiu-jitsu and just everybody in general. Is really, really cool.
That means
a
lot.
Cool you guys are doing. So
thank you, man. We appreciate that. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Neutral Zone is Combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean? Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast. The Bjj Box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the Bjj Box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at thebjjbox. Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible Nogi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu Jitsu Dummies signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
All right, guys.
Wow.
Very cool.
I love that one.
Now you see why I asked them to come back, but I wanted them back together.
For sure.
There was something about the way that Nick spoke about jiu-jitsu, how they train people in jiu-jitsu, about their friendship and relationship in the gym. Right. I felt that I wanted to see them together. I wanted to see that dynamic, and I think I was right.
I think everybody got it.
Yeah,
I think they summed up the jiu-jitsu experience from behind the curtain to maybe who's somebody who's more analytical about how they feel about jiu-jitsu.
I think more and more people are going to start thinking that way and realizing that.
I think more people think that way and they don't even know they thought that way.
Or that other people, that people think that way. Yeah, I agree.
That's going to be the new normal.
And Danny, if you're still listening, if you're watching this, we're going to get you scheduled. We'll have you come on your own in the next couple months as well, and we'll do it again. All right, guys. Check us out at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies on Instagram for all the ways to watch, listen, support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's on the podcast, the audio,
help the show
on your favorite app, or on YouTube. Click the bell.
Yeah, the bell.
There you go.
Whatever you got.
Click the bell, subscribe. Please, it helps us out. If you like what we're doing, if you don't click the bell. Well, click the bell anyway.
Yeah.
But if you like what we're doing, support us, please. And not only that, support our sponsors. This is how we're able to do this. This is how we'll be able to do this more.
Let us know what you want. That stuff is cool. We don't mind that at all. Let us know what you want.
I love the questions that we get, the conversations that we have online. And
or just get in there and troll.
Yeah, man.
Go for it.
Where's the haters?
I don't want haters. I want trolls.
You could check me out at Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram.
That's cool. You can check me out at JJD
I left out the at.
DJJ.
You using the at now, you bastard? I finally dropped it. I dropped 69. The at. Did I just drop it out? Did I just drop the at and you didn't drop? Now you're using the at?
Maybe.
All right.
Mind games. Reindeer games.
What's
this dude's a black belt at Instagram
JJD _DJJ69.
That's right.
We actually, I was like, last episode, we were like, what's his? We gave it out. I think Bo remembered it.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
bro, just look up Jiu Jitsu Dummies. I'm tagged in every single post.
Yeah.
Click at the one that makes the most sense.
Bo, let them know where they can find you.
At
Bad Works, BADWERKS.
All right. Very cool, guys. Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. Peace, love, jiu-jitsu.
Peace, love, jiu-jitsu. Let's do it.